Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. It's Monday morning. The Raptors lost in double overtime to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Disappointing. They had a good lead. They were winning by over 20. It's the first time the Raptors have lost a game where they were up by that many points since 2013 or something. They had their chances. Like, honestly, if they had just executed a little bit better at certain times, they would have won the game last night. They really would have. Today, I'm reacting to the game last night, and I've got two games to preview this morning. The Raptors are playing again today against the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans. And also, the Raptors 905 are playing at 7 p.m. In Long Island against the Long Island Nets. So I have all the preview stuff for that. Let's start it right now, and then we'll do the reaction to the game last night, the unfortunate loss, double overtime against Oklahoma City. Learning lessons, growing pains. Yeah, learning lessons and growing pains. All right, here's your injury report for the New Orleans Pelicans. Onward and forward, we look as Raptors fans. Larry Nance Jr. is questionable for today. It's his ankle. Zion Williamson is questionable for today due to a left foot bone bruise. And Herbert Jones, his abductor, is bothering him. He's listed as questionable ahead of today's game against the Raptors. So Larry Nance Jr., Zion Williamson, and Herbert Jones on the injury report for the New Orleans Pelicans this morning. Their lineup looks like such. We got our old friend Jonas V in the center there. Jonas Valanciunas, we'll see him tonight. Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum in the backcourt for the Pelicans. And then I don't know who's going to fill in for those guys who may be out. We got also Dyson Daniels, the rookie Jordan Hawkins, Trey Murphy III, Najee Marshall, Jose Alvarado, Cody Zeller, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and Matt Ryan. And that is pretty much the lineup for the Pelicans. They have been losing more than they've been winning in recent years, guys, just so you know. I mean, recent games, not recent years. They actually are 2-3 in their last 5 games, and they've been losing more often than winning. So they're like 5-6 in their last 11. So that's the thing. They've won their last 2 games. They played Houston and San Antonio, a little Texas two-step this past week, and they won those 2 games, but they lost to Boston, Milwaukee, and Oklahoma City before that. So I don't know. The Pelicans are a weird team. They're a winning team, but they're also like susceptible. Let's just put it that way. Maybe we could have a better effort and win tonight. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be winning. Maybe the closeness and competitiveness of the game last night was exactly how it should have been, and we lost. Yeah. I wonder about that. I wonder about Scotty at the end of the first overtime. I'm like, Scott, why don't you just win the game now? We're tied. We have the ball, the last possession. Why don't you just go do something where you score? No, you hand it off to Gary, and Gary just kind of fumbles around and takes a really shitty, poor shot. We got a better shot at the end of regulation off that little play that got the shot for RJ off 3. Now, if RJ was supposed to be that guy to shoot that big shot at the end of the game and that far away, that's not the best shot either. But at least it was a clean shot, and he got a shot on the goal. Whatever happened at the end of the first overtime, that was a fail. Jordan Bolton even tweeting at that moment, was that a play? What was that? Yeah, that was a fail. Darko kind of talked about it a little bit after the game, saying this like we wanted the ball in Scotty's hands, and we wanted him to create. Well, Scotty was passive. Scotty had the ball. He could have done something himself, but he handed it off to Gary. And I don't get that. I don't get that at all. It's not like you set up Gary to be open. I think he panicked. And he just handed him the ball, and he should have done something himself. Ah, Scotty, the growing pains, Scotty, the growing pains. All right, our injuries for today. Not a very big list, thank God. Jonte Porter will not play in Sunday's game, but he may play today. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe not. I don't know. Jonte's listed for his back and Marquise for his hamstring. But that's it. Nobody else on the Raptors injury report. All clean other than Jonte and Marquise. Two of our two ways. Yeah, well, I love watching the Raptors play when RJ's healthy. And when we have our real guys, they actually look really capable. They play really high level. We kicked the Thunder's ass for the first half of the game last night. Absolutely kicked their ass, playing badass defense and really varied scoring. And it sucks because we see the potential. We see that these guys can actually play a solid defense around each other. I was really impressed with Jakob Poeltl in all kinds of ways last night, and we'll talk about it in a sec. Referee report for the New Orleans game tonight. Here's your refs. Let's do the first game. 7 o'clock, 9:05 at Long Island Nets. The crew chief is Jenna Renault, number 77. She's that FIBA ref, the blonde ref from FIBA. She's a great ref, actually. She will be in Long Island as the crew chief. Hortensia Sanchez Carzales, number 50, is the referee. And Stephanie Barksdale is the umpire, number 21. So all ladies ref crew for the 9:05 G League game, 7 o'clock tonight at Long Island Nets. So hopefully they can turn things around too. I'm just sick of getting these L's. Both of y'all. Can one of y'all just win something? Jeez Louise, come on, y'all. These last second losses this weekend were very deflating. 9:05 and Raptors, losing close games. I mean, the route on Friday was worse against Houston, but in some ways, these close games that you just barely lose suck too. All right, let's do the refs for the 9:05, the Raptors versus the Pelicans tonight. Our first ref is Josh Tiven. He is the crew chief tonight. 15th season out of Norwich, Connecticut. Josh Tiven likes Seinfeld, Minority Report, Dermot Kennedy. His favorite book is Firstborn. It's a novel written by his father, apparently. His first favorite meal is chicken parmesan with vodka sauce. Do you just want vodka? Do you need the vodka sauce? Why don't you just drink vodka with your pasta? I don't know. His favorite app is Instagram. He'd most like to visit Hawaii. He'd like to play golf at Augusta National, and he's a yo-yo expert. Are you a Duncan yo-yo expert? Seriously, Josh Tiven, can you do walk the dog? Can you do around the world? Can you do those great yo-yo tricks of old that I used to do when I was a kid that I thought I was doing, but I really wasn't, probably because I was just rolling the yo-yo on the ground and saying walking the dog? Yeah, that's not walking the dog, young Lex. That's just rolling the yo-yo on the ground. That's not actually the trick. The trick is in the air. If you see it on TV, you'll see that that's not walking the dog when you walk it on the ground. Cold, hard truth, bro. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Yeah, Josh Tiven, he's interesting. He's married with 2 daughters. He enjoys playing golf. Yeah, he's not bad for us, honestly. He is statistically the best ref for the Raptors today. We did lose the last game he refereed for us, but we won the one before. So we're like win one, lose one with him in the last 2 games. 61% winning percentage for the Raptors career-wise with Josh Tiven. Meanwhile, the Pelicans are 48%. So the split is 61 to 48 for the Raptors with crew chief Josh Tiven. The second ref is Natalie Sago, 6th, 7th season out of St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, Natalie. We know Natalie. Her favorite TV show is dun-a-dun-a-dun, dun-a-dun-a-dun. I'm Robert Stack, and welcome to Unsolved Mysteries. Yes. Somebody who likes Unsolved Mysteries as their favorite show, it's got to be cool. Like, she likes that creepy shit. The Yeti stories and like crime and weird shit on Unsolved Mysteries. That creepy ass show. That's Natalie Sago's favorite TV show, y'all. Unsolved. It's not even like that show is new. It's like she's watching the old episodes on streaming them on old stream sites, and it's like they don't make that show no more, and she loves that show still. That's crazy. That's awesome. In some ways, I have a lot of respect for that. That her favorite show is Unsolved Mysteries. That's awesome. Her favorite movie is Hardball. She likes Morgan Wallen as music. Her favorite book is Winning. Favorite meal is steak. Her favorite app is Instagram. She most like to visit Fiji, and her bucket list is to watch a game in all 30 MLB stadiums. She's more than halfway there. You better come down to the Rogers Center, Natalie, and catch some Blue Jays baseball. That's right. Yeah, we're redoing our dome. Yeah, we're always renovating it. Yeah, you can come down and see our new stadium. Yeah, her hidden talent is she can juggle. So we've got a yo-yo expert and a juggler so far, a juggler and a yo-yo expert. Yeah, I never tried to juggle. If I tried to juggle when I was a kid, I threw it up with one hand and just one thing, and I threw it up and caught it and caught it. I'm juggling. I'm juggling. No, that's not juggling, Lex. That's not juggling, young Lex. That's just throwing an orange up in the air and catching it with one hand. That's not juggling. That's not walking the dog, bro. Oh my gosh. Sego has a bachelor's degree in K through 12 physical education from the University of Missouri, St. Louis in 2013. She has 2 mini Aussie doodles named Bogey and Divot. How cute. So cute. Now, Natalie is the worst ref for us today, but she's actually in our favor still. We win 50% of our games when Natalie Sego is present. We won the last game she ref for us this season, and the Pelicans win 48% of their games. So 50 to 48 is the split with the second ref, Natalie Sego. The third ref is Andy Nagy, 5th season out of Toledo, Ohio. His favorite show is also Seinfeld. So we've got the Seinfeld Unsolved Mysteries crew here for New Orleans tonight. Seinfeld. You know, all that bullshit. His favorite musician is Metallica. Yeah. Ah, yeah. I cannot live. I cannot die. Trapping myself. Body my hold in hell. Yeah. Yeah. Played against Sue doing one recently on her channel reviewing Metallica, the one video. And I'm like, holy crap, Sue, that's heavy shit you're doing right now on your channel. Very, very cool. Check out Raptor Freak Sue. Her Play It Again music reaction channel is awesome. She had never seen that one video by Metallica, and it's dark, man. It is dark. Boy, is it dark. Andy Nagy's favorite meal is filet mignon. He likes Spotify. He most like to visit the Maldives. His bucket list is to get a hole-in-one, and his hidden talent is he's a barbecue expert. Well, that could be a fly referee barbecue. Andy Nagy on the grill, Josh Tiven with the yo-yo, and Natalie Sego with the juggling. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see that going on. Nagy unofficially began his officiating career at 14 when his father allowed him to referee a Catholic youth organization game between a Christmas tournament. Yeah, so he's been refereeing since he was a teenager, Andy Nagy. He's not a bad ref. He's in the middle between the other two. We win 660% of our games when Andy Nagy's around. We did win the last game he refed us this year. And meanwhile, the Pelicans only win 29%. So that's a huge split between the third ref, Andy Nagy, with the Pelicans and the Raptors. 60 to 29 is the split. So all three refs favor the Raptors today. That's great news. All the refs favor the Raptors today. There you go. We got a favorable ref crew. They're not too bad. Natalie Sego don't take no mess, but she likes unsolved mysteries. That's awesome. I love that. I really do love that so much. I love that show too. It's cool. It's creepy. It's a creepy show. All right, there you go. There's your ref report and your injury news for tonight's game. Herb Jones, Zion Williamson may not be playing for the Pelicans tonight, just so you know. All right, let's see what's going on in our chat. A reaction to last night's 2 overtime game against the Thunder, SGA. Lots of interesting things in this game for sure. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. I can't believe we lost that game last night. We looked really good. Well, on to the next one. Let's get the win tonight. You know, this is in the philosophy of, you know, we want to compete. We're not playing to lose. We're not trying to tank. We're going to play at a high level. We're going to like try. But if we don't win, that helps us too, right? It's like we were really trying last night. In fact, I was saying to myself, this is the first star of the game for me, is Jakob Poeltl. In the first half of the game, Jakob was working so hard and doing so many good things. In fact, I was so intrigued by the matchup of Poeltl versus Chet Holmgren. that I was like, man, I don't want Chet to like do crazy things to him. But it was like actually really good what Jakob did with Chet. Chet wasn't that much of a factor in major ways. He kind of contained him well. And then also at the same time, he was doing stuff to him. Like there were a couple of times where Thad muscled the ball out of Chet's hands, showed strength can beat the slender man because he can't hold the ball. And Thad just muscled it right out of his hands. And then another play where Jakob just backed him down and muscled him down and just scored on his ass. So we saw some of the weaknesses of Holmgren in this game. We saw some of the strengths. Oh, yeah, those outside threes. But we also saw some of the weaknesses of him. And I felt like Jakob in particular was really committed to playing a high level intensity and energy on the court all over the place. He was busting his ass. And as people have said this week, he's not fully conditioned. He's not fully back. He said it after the game. I don't totally have my conditioning back, but I feel pretty good. I thought the effort by Jakob on both ends of the court yesterday was fantastic. In fact, it was a really big key part of why our defense was actually working for the most of the first part of the game. Like all the way, I would say pretty much into maybe halfway into the third quarter. The Thunder came back after halftime with a total new perspective, and they were really kind of angry and aggressive. Their coach did a good job talking to them at halftime because they weren't really right in the first half. And we were playing really well. We were on top of things. Our defense was really solid. I thought that Scotty playing SGA was brilliant. I thought that he did exceptional guarding SGA in the first half. I thought that that's no easy task. I just think, wow, Jakob is really working his ass off. You can tell he's not playing games to just lose. He wants to compete at the highest level. And if we don't win, we don't win, but he wants to compete at least and play at a high level and learn and build and progress. I can see that. Scotty, he's out there taking the tough assignment of SGA. He's switching off. He's taking that Chet sometimes. He's sometimes switching to Lou Dort. In some ways, this guy, Scott, is really taking over for OG as far as that multi-purpose, all great or all-around defender. Taking the hardest assignment on the other side. And really, like, honestly, some of the stuff Scott was doing to SGA really did limit him. In some ways, part of the game the thing that happened with Scott late, it was like he scored all of his points in the first half. And then, like, he barely scored in the second half in the double overtime. And I think it's because he was working so hard to guard SGA. I think that he had to expend a lot of energy kind of just keeping up with him mentally and physically. And that was what he was focused on. Now, the other stuff, I wish he had gone more scoring later. In fact, it's a travesty how little he scored in the fourth quarter and in the two overtimes. It's no good. It's no good. You got to look to score, Scott. You can't be so unselfish. Like there was one play in particular where you're right near the basket and you were so unselfish you had to pass it to Jakob. Fuck that shit, Scott. Take it up yourself. Take it up yourself. I love how unselfish you are, but it's also a problem. It's a problem. In some ways, it's fantastic. We wish more players were so unselfish, but in some ways, you can be so unselfish. It's a problem. And right now, your unselfishness is a problem. We need you to be selfish. We need you to go take your big piece of the cake and eat it. And when you don't do that, we're lacking in some ways. This is the thing you got to understand, Scotty. You're the best scorer on this team. I know RJ's doing what he's doing. It looks amazing. That dunk late in the game where he just threw it down on them in anger, like, that was amazing. RJ and Emmanuel are going and looking for their shots. You're not. You are not looking for your shots. Some people have been complaining all year that Dennis is freezing out Scotty. No, that's not what's happening. Scotty is not being active enough. He's being passive. He has the opportunities to take the ball and go do stuff with them, but he's not taking them. He's kind of like waiting for the game to come to him, or he's being too nice, or he's giving the ball to other people instead of taking it himself. Scotty, you're the best shooter on this team. You have the highest percentage kind of stuff that you shoot. You, for the team's good, you need to take the shots yourself. You can be so nice. It's like, here, Jakob, here. No, fucking take that shit up yourself because you're going to make that shot more likely than your teammate. And I'm sick of this. In some ways, you're too nice, Scott. You need to pass the ball when you need to pass the ball, when the double or triple is coming really strong. But no, if you have only one guy on you, you need to take it up and go over them and make that shot and make the basket yourself. Because in some ways, you need to practice taking over and scoring a lot of baskets all the time, all in consecutive times, late, to take over the game and overcome stuff. In some ways, you need to start practicing that, Scott. In some ways, I'm frustrated because there's these opportunities. You had a golden opportunity at the end of the first overtime to make the game-winning shot. And in some ways, it was all set up for you. All you needed was a 2. You didn't need a 3. We were tied. All you needed to do was go inside and get a short-range 2. You could have gotten a mid-range. You could have got within 10 feet. Whatever I was saying in the chat, Scotty is so good at getting to his spots to get the high percentage shots. He's so quick to dribble in and get position and get into crazy, amazing spots. In the NBA, it was so hard to work the ball into the inside and get to spots like he can do. He can get the spots so easy. Some of the easier than most NBA players cannot get the spots like this. He can get the spots like superstars. Top superstars can get the spots on the court. So why can't you get to a spot in the last possession of the first overtime so that you can make a high percentage 2-point shot and win the game at the buzzer and get more steam? If you do that, everybody's like, this guy should have been an all-star. That's what you have to understand, Scotty. Those opportunities, when they get in front of you, you need to take them and make them and fucking get the glory. Because if you don't, you're going to stymie your career. You can't shy away from this shit. I don't care if you played more minutes than you've played ever and you're guarding the hardest guard to guard in the whole entire league, the whole game. I don't give a shit. There's no excuses. In some ways, listen, I understand you went crazy with your conditioning last year in the offseason, so you be ready for everything. Maybe you found out there's another level. Well, if I'm going to have to fucking guard SGA for most of the game and score, I'm going to have to get even better with my conditioning this summer coming up. Because that's what it seemed like, bro. It seemed like you were tired in the overtime. That's why you couldn't score for yourself. It seemed like you were tired. It seemed like you were deferring. It seemed like you were like, I don't want to shoot, guys. Everybody else can shoot but me because I'm tired. That's what it felt like to me. And this is all out of love and pure constructive consideration and criticism. This is not because I hate you. This is not because I'm mad at you. This is not any of this. It's a normal learning curve that a young superstar has to go through. In some ways, it's recognizing the time to go and take the opportunity is part of the learning curve. And right now, the green light was there for you to go get it with that last possession where you handed it off to Gary, and that turned into absolute bullshit. Yeah, that was a fucked up, wasted opportunity, bro. That was when you should have won the game. It should have never went to double overtime. You should have won that game right then when you had that ball at the top of the key and you decided to hand it off to Gary. Man, and Gary, what? Come on, Gary. You're frustrating me, and you're also making me very happy too, Gary. It's like a very double-edged sword with you these days. Holy crap. But man, Scott, call your own number. Call 4. Call 4, Scott. Call 4 is what I'm saying. And in some ways, that's the most unselfish thing you could do is call your own damn number, win the game, and everybody feels good because they won instead of, letting it go to this point. In some ways, that's your responsibility as the top player, the franchise player, is to help your team win so that they feel good. And that makes it unselfish in itself, you making those shots for your team. You're too nice, bro. Be meaner. Be selfish. Take your shit. These guys are gone, man. Siakam's gone. OG's gone. Take it. Your shit. It's your team now, bro. Take it. Go take it. Take the shot. Put it on your shoulders. Get the glory. Get the honor. Get stronger consideration for All-Star and All-NBA and other awards because you won the game for the team at the end of the first overtime. That's what I'm saying, Scott. You're going to see that opportunity on film this morning. And you'll be like, damn, I did have a chance. Damn, I could have done it. Why didn't I do it? Why didn't I go and just fucking take the little baby down there and put my back on them and just beat them up and just go over them? Why? Why didn't you do that, Scott? Come on, man. Please. Please, Scott. Please. Hurt them. It's like they say, Hammer, don't hurt them. Please, Hammer, don't hurt them. No, I'm saying, Scotty, hurt them, please. Please hurt them. Go do it. You see SGA with Eye of the Tiger. You see RJ all intense. Why isn't RJ doing it? If Scott's too tired, he doesn't want to do it. Darko, give it to RJ. Let him do it then. I mean, we have options here. In some ways, I didn't like the quickly stuff in the overtimes in the fourth. It's too selfish and himself not doing enough with sharing. There's a little bit of him with Jakob that was good late, where he'd get inside and dump it off to Jakob real easy, and Jakob just threw it in real easy. That was good. But some of the crazy wild shots outside by Emmanuel were not. Some of the shot selection was not the best. Some of it was just not like the right timing. I know, I get it. This is in vogue to shoot threes on fast breaks, but come on, bro. You can get a better shot than that. In some ways, I wasn't too happy with Emmanuel Quickly's shot selection late. I like when he dumped it off to Jakob and he'd make a little short shot, but I didn't like when Emmanuel was trying to go all on his own. In some ways, some of it was good because he was making some of it. But then some of it's just not team oriented. It's very like isolation. I'm on my own. I'm just going to try and make the shots kind of thing. That's annoying. My first star of the game is Jakob, as I said. Jakob was really, really good on both ends of the court. 8 for 9 from the field, a double-double, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. We had this nice little bookends of Jakob free throws in the game. First guy to shoot free throws in the game for us, and really kind of the last guy too. The first time he got up there, he made both the free throws. And I was like, yes, Jak, you set the tone for the free throw line tonight. Don't get up there and miss 2 free throws in a row to start things off for us. That may just fuck us up for free throws for the whole night. No, he got up there. You could tell he's changed his technique. It's a lot more solid. It's a lot more straight. It has a higher percentage going in. And he made the first 2. And then the later, he missed the first one. It was short, but he made the fourth one. So 3 for 4 from the free throw line for Jakob. That's an accomplishment in some ways, especially since some of those free throws were high pressure, the ones late. 3 offensive rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 5 fouls, -6 in 33 minutes with 19 points. Yeah, Jakob, number 1 player. I thought that he was exceptional in how he guarded Chet Holmgren. This is a different kind of big than the normal kind of big that Jakob's got to go up against. Sometimes it's a very physical, strong man kind of match. That's not in this case. This case, it's keeping track of this motherfucker and making sure he can't run all around and do crazy shit. Is really kind of keeping a tab on him and keeping kind of him in arm's length, because he can run around and do all kinds of crazy stuff off the dribble and shooting from outside. So I thought that Jakob did a really good job kind of keeping track of Chet. And if this is the first time he's ever had to play him, I thought he did really well. Chet could have been a huge issue last night, but he was kind of contained. I thought that Jakob did a really good job on him. My second star of the game last night is RJ Barrett. RJ is just aggressive. RJ is just pure. RJ is just real. RJ is just right in a Raptors jersey. There's just something so pure about it. There's just something so like right. As far as like he's Canada, bro. There's something about him, man, that just tells me it's like I cannot doubt RJ Barrett as a Raptor, because he is doing this for the right reasons. Oh my gosh. It's like I will never question RJ's allegiance to the Toronto Raptors, because fuck, man, this dude grew up a Raptors fan. This dude is from our community. This dude is a Toronto kid. He really does feel this connection to our team, and he loves it. He's relishing it. You can tell it's something really enjoyable to him to be on our team right now. And he really takes it seriously. Like when he shows the fire he shows on the court right now, I feel that fire in me. But it's like, fuck this shit. We want to do good things for the Raptors. We're going to throw it down. We're going to take it to the basket. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to get fired up. We're going to go out there and bust our ass. We're going to go out there and just be badasses. I think the passing between him and Scotty is fantastic. There's a natural synergy between RJ and Scotty that really bodes well for the future. As far as both of them are great passers, both of them are great scorers, and working off each other, they look really good, honestly. 9 for 16 from the field for RJ Barrett, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. He did miss 1 free throw bad. And that is an area where I'm watching him too. I'm watching Pirtle and I'm watching Barrett with their free throws, because Barrett's free throws have not been good since he became a Raptor. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 turnovers, a -13 with 23 points in 43 minutes. RJ Barrett, you are the man. Only Raptor that scored 20 points. This is a problem too, because listen, 5 of the Thunder scored 20 points. And we had one guy score 20 points. It was RJ. RJ got his quota. These other guys did not. We had a bunch of 19-point guys. 19 points for Scotty, 19 points for Jakob, 19 points for Dennis, and only one 20-point scorer for us, RJ Barrett, 23. Now, the other side, we see Chet, 22 points, SGA, 23, Josh Giddey, 24, Lou Dort, 22, Aaron Wiggins, or whatever the fuck his name is, fake-ass Wiggins, 20 points. They had 5 scorers score 20 points. We had one guy score 20 points. That's what we need you, Scott, to step up and get closer to 30 points in a game, especially when you play that many minutes. Honestly, you need more than just 19 points, Scotty. We need you to be unselfish by being selfish, is what I'm saying. Scotty Barnes is my 3rd star, even though I'm criticizing him a bit today. He was fantastic. He was guarding SGA, for Pete's sake. He was doing a lot of good things out there. In fact, there was a period in the first half where I was saying Scotty's doing the Tim Duncan team defense role now. We see him coming out and helping to double and agitate in aggressive traps, but then he's recovering and getting back into the lane and playing the big man defense, the last line of defense, the shot blocking defense down inside. There was some really good switching and really good, smart, intelligent working with the other guys on defense, and that was part of the reason why it worked. Is because Scotty was showing flashes of TD21, Tim Duncan. In some ways, he was doing things out there with switching on defense in the first half that was very reminiscent of that very, very good winning percentage Spur, Tim Duncan. And I loved it. I love it. Scotty, you were awesome in that way. 3 for 5 from 3. I love that. 9 assists, 7 rebounds, 1 block. Yeah, +4, 19 points, 48 minutes. It's the most minutes Scotty's played in an NBA game ever, apparently, is what they were saying last night. And that maybe that's part of the reason why I look tired. I'm telling you, guarding SGA is not easy. Also, guarding SGA and trying to take over and win the game for your team, well, it takes a lot out of the gas tank. And Scotty, did you realize now that there are levels to this, that you can get conditioned to a certain level, think you're conditioned enough, but there may be more conditioning you need to get to an even top level that you can guard a guard like SGA for most of the game and get yours on the other end of the court. That takes a lot of energy, bro. In this offseason, you may be adding to your workouts to get to that next level. That's what I'm saying, Scotty. If you want to have that energy in the second overtime after run around after that amazing Canadian player on the other side, yeah, you might have to put in even more work, my man, this offseason. So, yeah, those are my 3 stars, Jakob, RJ, and Scotty. Yeah, I'm really happy with our starting lineup. I feel like it looks really good. You know, when Gary's hitting his shot, he's fantastic. Quickly is really a good weapon, but we're going to have to figure out how to rein him in. He's a little chaotic right now. And in some ways, I'm looking forward to Darko working with him more specifically in actions and play sets, getting quickly his strengths and good stuff uncovered. I do not agree with Darko only playing 9 guys last night. In some ways, we didn't see any Jordan Nwora. We didn't see any Chris Boucher, and we haven't seen any Chris Boucher recently. It's very strange what's going on with Chris. I'm not happy about it. There's a lot of writing on the wall right now with him. Meanwhile, the other side, Mark Dagnall is playing 11 guys. We played only 9. In some ways, that was a factor in this game. I question this by Darko in some ways. If I'm going to be constructive criticism of our coach, you're on the first night of a back-to-back. You're going to have to travel to New Orleans and play them very soon. You're in a double overtime, and you're going to only play 9 guys. You normally play 10. And also, you played the starters very heavy minutes. You got Scotty with 48 minutes, Trent 40, RJ and Emmanuel both 43. Yeah, I don't necessarily like this. I wish he had distributed the minutes a little bit more into the bench with a couple more guys playing. We should have seen some Boucher, honestly. We should have seen some Boucher. It is what it is. You know, there's always going to be things to learn, whether it's Scotty learning stuff, whether it's RJ, whether it's Emmanuel, whether it's Jakob learning about Chet, whether it's Darko learning about rotations and back-to-backs. We'll have to see what happens. Trevor's here. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy Monday morning and game day. Let's get this one tonight. Yeah, I'm with you, Trevor. He said, I had to watch the game over because boy, oh boy, people are going crazy about Scotty having the ball to win the game and then passed it out to Gary to shoot. People are really getting down on him. It's no good. Raptors fans, listen, come here for direction. Understand what I just said is a valid constructive criticism. But if you're getting overreacting, saying stupid shit about him, realize some of the things I just said. He had to guard SGA for fucking most of the game. He was tired by the end of the game. In some ways, that's not an excuse. But like I said, he's got to learn the new levels of conditioning so that he can do it all. Last year, he had to learn, well, I got to do this level just to keep up. Well, now you can learn there's levels to this, Scott. You're going to need even more conditioning if you're going to be expected to be the OG plumbing company now that OG's gone and like stop the best player on the other side and get yours at the same time. That's not easy. Ask OG. That's why OG would not score so much. He'd be so busy trying to just lock down the other side, and he'd score as he could. But it's not like he's going to take over and be the number one guy. Now, Scott, can you do both? Can you do both? Can you be the OG on our team and shut down guys like SGA night by night and still get 30 for yourself? That's going to be the test. That's the kind of shit that will get you all-star no matter what. I'm telling you right now. Then people see like, oh, shit, Scotty's guarding Jokic and he's dropping 40. That is the kind of shit that will get you accolades right there. Yeah. Everybody who's coming at Scott right now, pause. He's our future. He's a badass. There's so many good signs about him and what he's going to become. Y'all just need to be patient and let him fail and learn on the schedule he's supposed to. In some ways, yeah, it was a fail by Scott last night. And I will say that moment that you just pointed out, Trevor J, is the crucial point in the game where we fucked up. Oh, yeah, there should have never been a double overtime. There's a lot of woulda, coulda, should we could have done, but that was right there on the plate for him to just take and just end the game right there. And he shied away from it. In some ways, that's the thing that pisses me off. It's like, Scott, man, you're supposed to be like, I'm the man. I'm going to go do it. You wanted this team. It's your team, bro. Don't fucking pass it to Gary like that. And you didn't even set him up for an easy shot. You didn't even give him a screen or anything. You just kind of handed it to him and then walked away. See, this is the thing. You got to premeditate these situations in your head. You got to play this shit in your head ahead of time. That's what our guy Magic would do. Magic would think about every single situation you could get into when he's playing against teams like the Celtics and the Sixers. And he would be like, all right, well, this situation, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go left and I'm going to do this and I'm going to go up over him and I'm going to do this. You've got to premeditate these kind of situations coming up for you, man, and understand what you're going to do and think about it. It's just so it's a reflex. It's not even that you get in your head. It's just like, yeah, I've been in this situation in my head so many times. I know exactly what I'm going to do right now. That's what you got to do, Scott. You got to premeditate. You got to do the pre-thought work on, well, what if I'm in a situation where it's the last second of the first overtime and we're tied against Oklahoma City Thunder? What am I going to do in that situation? Yeah, think about it ahead of time. Do it right now. Scott, I don't care where you are right now. If you're waking up, you're doing your morning yoga, start thinking about it right now. Ooh, if I'm in a tied situation, I have to hit the game winner. What am I going to do? Fucking put some pre-thought into it so you can pre-visualize. So when you get that opportunity, you can make it that dreams come true, is what I'm saying. So dream about it. Think about it. Think about it at night when you're sleeping. Making shots, big shots at the end of the buzzer. Winning games. Dreaming about it. Yeah, and then make your dreams come true, motherfucker. Get out there and hit those shots. Think about it. And so when that opportunity is presented in front of you, you take it and you exceed expectations and you win. That's what I'm saying, Scott. That's what I'm saying right there, my man. That's what I'm saying. Trevor's saying, but the guys looked really good last night. They fought really hard. One of the best games I've seen so far. They really wanted to win. They played really well. It's sad that they didn't win. In some ways, it's deflating. In some ways, it's just like, yeah, this is this year. This is this year for the fucking Raptors. Let's get all this bullshit out of the way. It's kind of like the Tampa year. It's like, yeah, it does feel like that. It's like maybe Bob and Masai were like, yeah, double overtime. Wow, we look really good. We lost. High five. High five. They're like, yeah, we lost. Yay. We got some good development. We got in a good game situation. We got a double overtime experience. Scotty had a really good game guarding SGA. Chet Holmgren contained by Pirtle to an extent. Good stuff happening. But boy, we lost still. And so we got the L still. And we may get the pick still. We got to game this to be on our side the right way. Well, we're keeping the pick. We played an awesome game. We can't say that we we were a bad team. We can't say that we didn't hang with a top Western Conference team like the Thunder, but we can't say we won. Maybe that's the best of all of it right there. Maybe that's the best of all of it. We hit that target right in the middle where we need to be. Tank Commanders. Yeah, Tank Commanders. I hate saying that word, but when it's like this, it's valid. It's valid right now. I hate that fucking word though. But I honestly, do you feel like that game was a tank? No. No, we busted our ass. We kicked ass. We could have won. We should have won. I wish we'd won, but we didn't. So hey, all right. Keep that pick. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Trevor's saying some of the sports analysts over here say that Scotty did not want to fight and be that guy. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was really tired. There was also a point in the game where it looked like Scotty got hurt. He was hobbling a little bit. This thing, he gets hurt during games, and it kind of takes him out a little bit at times. And I think that there was a little bit of a hurt that he got. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it in the chat last night. In some ways, the people in the chat overreact too much. Y'all drive me crazy in the Facebook. Y'all are too emotional and too in the moment. Y'all need to be more steady and calm in there. You're like, ah, and all these crazy emoticons, like crying and screaming and crazy. Just chill, y'all. Chill. Just ride through it. In some ways, y'all are overreacting every single second. We can't do that. Just watch the whole game and don't get so crazy in the moment. Like sometimes in there, and in some ways, I can't be in the chat because y'all are being so like dramatic. Let's just put it that way. Some of it's very dramatic. Just stop being so dramatic. And yes, Monique, I do have a bromance with RJ Barrett right now. I'm sorry. It's just natural. I see another guy from Toronto like me playing for our favorite team, our top team, and he's doing stuff like that. I can't not get upset. I love the effort. In fact, I was comparing RJ to Kyle Lowry last night. I was saying that, like, in some ways, the Kyle Lowry fight and compete spirit is in RJ Barrett. That in some of the ways, the things that we lacked with Lowry gone are back with RJ all of a sudden. That fire, that, that competitiveness, that drive. There's a certain kind of leadership with RJ that is a little bit like one of the flavors of Kyle Lowry's leadership. And I'm very welcoming that back. There's so much to like about RJ. How can you not have a bromance with him? Monique, the superfan Lawrence. I don't understand that. How can you not be so thrilled to have one of our own native sons on our team right now, playing for us at a high level, smiling, happy? In some ways, he's having fun, even though we're losing. And in some ways, he will be good leader for other guys on our team to get with it. In some ways, he's on the inside. I feel like there's quality control. It's like, look, we got a Canadian guy on the inside. He's like, hey, listen, y'all, stop not playing hard enough for my hometown team. This is my team, y'all, from where I'm from. And you guys want to represent my team like I do, right? So you can be a leader to the rest of the guys on the team is saying, look, I don't want to embarrass our city. I don't want to embarrass my family and my friends from the city I'm from and the Raptors fans. You guys got to take this more seriously. RJ's going to be more like that voice around the team. In some ways, like Lowry would be. Lowry would be like, yeah, let's not let them punk us. We got to get the win. No, that competitive spirit, the guy who's keeping score. He's like, yeah, the last time we played SGA and the Thunder, they beat us in double overtime, just barely. I want to get them back. That's what he said after the game. He said, I wish we had beaten SGA and Dort because I want to talk shit to my Team Canada teammates. I can't now. Damn it. I wish we had beaten them. Because I wanted to talk trash to them. And he can't. I love that. If he's keeping score like Kyle used to, if he's keeping track of who we owe beatdowns to because they beat us down, you do it, RJ. We need that factor back. We need that Kyle Lowry competitiveness and spirit of like, yeah, let's kill them. Let's fucking win. That is RJ right now. So forgive me for being a bromance with him right now. I have a bromance with RJ Barrett. I'm sorry. It's just true. It's just true. I had no idea he was going to be a Raptor this year. And I'm so happy he is. It's amazing. It's such a good thing. Such a good thing. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Happy Monday and game day. I agree with you, Dana. I was so confident we'd win, but it's all part of learning how to close a game, keeping up the defensive mindset and handle the pressure. Yeah. We felt real good at halftime. It was a fun game. A lot of the game was just like enjoyable for Raptors fans, but the ending wasn't. And the feelings of like, yeah, we lost at the end of this. Now, I don't like losing games where we were up by so many points. That's never a good thing. In some ways, it's a testament to the Thunder and them working hard and staying together and playing their style to overcome us. In some ways, we didn't do the right things late in the game to execute, and they did. And that was part of the problem. That was part of the problem. Let's see. Fiercey's also saying, yes, at Trevor. I've read some mean comments under the Raptors post-game interview. How quick are some to turn on young Scotty? He's still learning at an accelerated pace. New team, we need to chill. Yeah, those people don't even exist to me anymore. If y'all are seeing these people, they don't matter. I'm just like, you know what? There's gonna be these kind of people. And I don't even know if they're Raptors fans. I don't know what fans they are. If you're fucking anti-Scotty all of a sudden and you were like anti-Fred last year, you just sound like you're anti-Raptors. So fuck you. I don't have time to read your comments. I don't care what you have to say because you don't matter. You really don't. A lot of these people that are online on social media at this point, they just need to shut the fuck up. And a lot of the things that they're reading, we don't need to read them. If you see places like this, yeah, your inclination is to go in there and feel mad or indignant or mad at like what these people saying about Scotty, this is not right, and get all angry. So there's a part of you inside you that wants to go seek that out for that feeling of anger. In some ways, you don't need that. You don't need that fiercey. If you know where those comments are, don't go there anymore. It's stupid. You can maybe gloss down and say, oh, yeah, I see this. Yeah, this is stupid shit. Fuck these people. And don't read them. Don't interact with them. The less we pay attention to them, the better. They're just going to be a part of life now. There's no way that there's not going to be this kind of shit at this point. There's just too many dumbasses out there. There's too many bots. There's too many fake people that are not really Raptors fans, acting like they're Raptors fans, coming on places and just trying to cause confusion. You cannot take public opinion and comments anywhere on any social media at this point with any kind of grain of salt. If there's intelligence in there, well, that's great, but there's not usually. So I just say don't go there anymore. I've stopped going there. I used to get really fired up on this stream because I'd read other people's comments, but I feel like that would take a whole section of my stream every single day to go after everybody who's negative and doing stupid shit like that. So I don't even go there anymore. These people don't exist to me. People like y'all, the good positive fans, y'all are important. I'll listen to y'all. I'll read all y'all's comments here. But people that are in fucking social media on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the fucking stupid ass thing they're on, I don't listen to them anymore. I know what they're going to say. I can tell after a game last night. I know what they're going to say. They may say a variation of what I said, but they may say it a lot cruelly, a lot more meaner, a lot more off point, a little bit more insulting in some ways. I mean, I feel like my points are valid. Scotty's a young superstar budding, and he's going to need time to figure out and recognize these situations and take advantage of them and execute on them and be successful. He will. He will. In fact, he may see that today and he'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I let that opportunity slip through my hands. I could have been a hero last night. Yeah. Yeah. In some ways, Scott, you just got to pre-thought. You got to think about these situations before. So when they come to you, you know what to do. Like it's a reflex. Like it's just it's just natural. You go right into it because you've already thought about it 1,000 times in your head. Seriously, if you're not doing pre-thought on these kind of things, you're never going to be a superstar that wins big games. This is the key. This is important. Magic, Larry, Michael, they all did it. They thought about every situation they could be in way before they even got on the court. They went through it all in their heads. That's preparation. That's mental preparation, Scott. And in some ways, that may be the next Lincoln log we need to build your little log cabin with, is mental preparation with pre-thought and thinking about it ahead of time so that when it comes, you know what to do. You know what to do. Yeah. Fiercely saying that the only vets he's worked with for the longest are Thad and Chris. Otto was out last year. Dennis and Garrett are new. Yeah, I think that Dennis has been fantastic for Scotty. It may have been a little rocky at the beginning of the season, but at this point, I can really tell that Dennis is really being a good mentor to Scotty. This was what I had hoped would happen last summer when we got Dennis. It was like, look, Dennis has worked with the Boston guys. He's worked with LeBron. In some ways, the way he worked with LeBron and the relationship he's had with LeBron will be very helpful to Scotty. That, you know, Dennis can talk to Scott and talk about LeBron things. And like, well, this is what I would do with LeBron at this point. We want to try and duplicate it between you and I. Hell yeah, I want to duplicate things you did with LeBron and the Lakers. That sounds fun. Yeah. I'm telling you, Dennis has been a very valuable person to Scotty. I think a lot of the Scotty lovers are stupid that they've been anti-Dennis this year. Because honestly, Dennis is one of the best people to have around Scott right now because he knows LeBron and he knows things from LeBron and playing with LeBron. He's like, well, this is what LeBron would have done, Scott. Oh, really? Tell me what LeBron would have done. Because honestly, I want to get better. And if you can give me insider knowledge because you played with LeBron and you talked to him, I want to know. Yeah, I will help you. I told you, I want to help you. I want to make you the best superstar you can be. Thank you, Dennis. Thaddeus is obviously working really well with Scott too. You see the way they pass with each other around the basket. Thaddeus getting to play so much recently has really shown a connection between him and Scotty. That's been a great leader and vet leader for Scott and a mentor. There's little things that he does, Thaddeus, on the inside with his moves and his left-handed hook that Scotty can take from and he can learn from as far as positioning and working in traffic with big physical, strong defenders around you and how to finish in the lane. That's something that Thad's very good at. And there may be little tricks with footwork and how to handle the ball and where to keep it so that it's not susceptible to them stripping it from you. This is all stuff that people like Dennis and Thad teach Scotty Barnes. And it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Dana's saying 100% to Fiercey. Fiercey's saying, speaking of Chris, another DMP. I was worried yesterday, but this morning I remembered Thad had those earlier in the season, so we'll see. Well, let's just go do the Instagram stories real quick because they're telling. I'm going to tell you that right now. Chris Boucher, first one up on the Instagram stories. He's got a song, Lord, Give Me a Sign. Let me know what's on your mind. He's in limbo right now. You can tell he's in limbo. He said, let me know what I'm going to find. It's all in time. Show me how to teach the mind. Show me how to reach the blind. Lord, give me what I get to do, bring me through. And then he's got Without Me by Eminem playing over his picture coming into the game. And he's wearing a Dennis Rodman NWO Rodzilla t-shirt. And it says he's playing Eminem because it's just me, because it's without me, it's just me. You know that fucking song, that old ass Eminem. Na 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 na. He's playing that song without me. What do you think that means? Seriously, that man has got DMP in the last 3 games. It's the trade deadline this week. And this motherfucker's playing Eminem without me on his Instagram stories. Yeah, I think the writing is on the wall. I hate this. I hate this so much. Don't trade him, Bobby. Don't trade him. But it's going to be weird if he doesn't. I don't know. He's already, in some ways I could tell. Chris is like, well, all these other old Raptors are gone. I'm probably next. So I'm going to play Eminem without me on my Instagram stories. And that's the little pointed message for everybody. Yeah, that's no good. That's no good. Grady Dick has a picture of him coming in the game. Peace out, bro. Peace out, man. Mr. New York City is also getting his hair cut yesterday. He cleans up real nice, Marquise. He also got some new clothes late last night. Jordan Wara with his family at the game yesterday. Coach. I'm not sure which coach that is. Some coach from his past, I guess he's buddies with. Yeah, the Instagram story is not a whole lot to see. Dennis has got he's been really putting on blast his team back in Braunschweig in the German league. That's kind of, his focus on social media is really not around the Raptors. It's on his team back in Germany. And of course, we have not seen him on YouTube forever now. So, wow. Yeah, interesting stuff on the Instagram stories with Chris Boucher. I'm a little worried. The man's playing Eminem without me on his Instagram stories. That's not the na. We don't want to see that. Na. Stay here, Chris. Na. I like having Canadians on our team. Na. All right, let's see. Chris is here. Good to see MSJ, BCG. Chris. Scotty, well, I did mention I was interested to see if he was able to lead this team to wins. The reality is, of 30 NBA teams, he leads one of the best teams in the world. In fact, that demands he lives up to it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to come. In some ways, it's like, I don't want to feel like he shies away from it or it's just not in his DNA. In some ways, I don't want to compare watching him on 2K and him being not clutch on that game and be like, is this in real life too? No, that's just a video game, Lex. That doesn't mean anything if he's not clutch in the video game. He's clutch in real life. He'll be clutch in real life. Come on, Scotty. Be clutch in real life. I want to see you be clutch. Just be clutch. Clutch in real life. Do it. Do it. Fiercely saying my 3 stars of the game were RJ for his aggressiveness. Man, so good. Such a fire in him. Yak for his efficiency. Great two-way play last night by Yak. Also post presence. And Thad for keeping up with the youngsters by blocking, stealing, and creating turnovers. Yeah, let me go look at Thaddeus's box score real quick. Thaddeus was 3 for 4 from the field, 19 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, a +2 with 6 points. Very simple stat line, very capable backup. In some ways, I'm not minding Thad Young as the backup center right now as much as I did a couple years ago with Nick. For some reason, Thaddeus is okay at this position. Maybe it's because the league's gotten smaller, and him being a backup center at this point is not a huge deal. It seemed like he did really well. I really loved the strip of Chet Holmgren. When he did that, that was like vet strength against just the guy. He's like just standing there. He's like, well, I'm just going to take it from you because you ain't got the strength I've got. And that, showing some of the weaknesses of Chet last night, his strength, getting the ball stripped out of his hands, and then being able to bully him, like push him around because he's so skinny. These are things I said it would happen. Jakob literally pushed him back and just laid it in at one point. He had his back to him and he kind of butted him out and just laid it in over his head over him. And that really showed just like there's some problems with Chet. That's why they don't want to play him at center, is because he can't really hold the pivot center like weight of holding people out of the lane with physicality because they can just push him. And in some ways, that's why he has to play power forward or small forward even. And he needs a big guy out there with him to play the big man kind of defense because he can get pushed around. We pushed him around last night. It was awesome. I loved it. It was awesome. Let's see. Fiercely saying a special mention to Scotty, Dennis, and Emmanuel. Bruce Brown, gotta go. Bruce Brown is weird, man. Every time he comes in the game, his game day fit is like he's coming straight from the cornfield. It's weird, man. Have you been paying attention to the pictures coming in? First of all, Scotty's not in them anymore. They're not showing Scotty's fits. And also, Scotty has not been in the press room after the games at all in the last couple weeks either. That's very telling and weird to me. In some ways, I like it because in some ways, I want him to do the work underground, not have to answer stupid-ass questions from people. RJ's much better at it in some ways. And in some ways, Scotty just needs to work on himself in silence away and show it on the court. I don't care about seeing his fit. I don't care about hearing him at the end of the game, especially if they're going to ask some stupid questions and frustrate him even further. So Scotty skipping press conferences, some people may be upset about that. I'm not. It's probably better in the long run. Trust me. It's probably better in the long run. Bruce Brown, he comes in like wearing overalls and like boots, like he's out in the field. Like I said, he looked like he was a farmer coming in the game yesterday with his fit. It's interesting. It's a different look. It's like I didn't realize we'd have country spice on our Raptor team this year. We got Canadian spice back here. We got quick spice. And now we got country spice. Bruce Brown, really very rural person. In some ways, is this a message? It's like, yeah, I don't know if I fit in Toronto. Look like I'm out there feeding the cows. Yeah, I'm milking them. And, I made sure they went out to pasture too. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Bruce Brown. His attire's cool. It's different. It's like, I don't know does he have some sort of contract with like a farming clothing catalog? It's like, yeah, this is the latest look for spring 2024 farm community. I don't know. I don't understand it. In some ways, is he talking to Gary Trent about fashion? I'm wondering about this. Is Bruce Brown Jr. and Gary Trent Jr. sitting on the bus and talking about their fashion identities? Yeah, man, I really wear crazy stuff with my tattoos, and I got a really crazy style. I'll wear anything. He's like, Bruce is like, yeah, do you have trousers? Do you have hip-wading boots? I'm like, what the fuck is this guy's style? It's crazy. It's cool. I'm not trying to hate anything. Listen, Bruce Brown, you're a different breath of fresh air as far as like your styles, and you're coming in with your agriculture look. It's cool, man. It's cool. I'm not hating. Seriously, I just think it's different. Let's look at Bruce in the game. How about that? Bruce played 18 minutes. He was 0 for 4. Didn't make any of his shots. He made both his free throws. He had 2 assists, and that's it. 2 points and 2 assists in 18 minutes. He didn't play a whole lot. Of course, he didn't start with RJ coming back. and this new lineup. So Bruce is coming off the bench. The one thing about Bruce Brown, I will say, is he has a very high aptitude on defense. He really does. And that is helpful. But once again, I'll say he's a sprinkles on top on the Sunday. He's an add-on. He's an option that'll get you to the championship at the very last second. But in some ways, he's not a building block to help you in the early stages like where we're at. He's like a last add. And he can really help a team that's close to getting a championship this year. And that's why they need to call us and talk to us on the phone and send us some good young players or draft picks for him right now. Who wants Bruce Brown? He's going to help y'all get a championship. So somebody call us. Because honestly, he doesn't fit with our timeline. In some ways, he doesn't really fit with the identity of our team. And right now, he's just in limbo. It's a weird thing. Him and his Hulk Hogan mustache. He had it like that. It's like, man, this dude has got weird personality. He's cool. He's agricultural with a Hulk Hogan mustache. That's kind of cool in some ways. I kind of like it, actually. Chris is saying he should have driven the ball off a pass, and he was in the moment. Hang on, it jumped. Why does it jump like that? Why does it jump like that? YouTube, why are you messing with me like that? I'm reading a comment, and you jump right in the middle of me reading it. Oh, come on now. Why would you do that to me, YouTube? Come on now. I'm making you money. Come on now. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. Nice filling it up, guys. I love to see all the comments. We do have a lot to talk about today. Let's see. All right, it's Chris. He should have driven the ball off a pass. He was in movement to receive, drive the basket, and make it or pick up a foul. That is really being on the road, tied with seconds left, the play for him. Yeah. There's all kinds of different things he could have done. He choked. He choked. That's just the way you can say it. Like handing it off to Gary and getting it in his hand, that's not the smart decision. Why wasn't there a screen? Why wasn't there? There wasn't a whole lot of time. That's what I'm saying. Where's the play? In some ways, I want Darko to take control of those kind of situations. Say, this is exactly what we're doing. Don't give them the options. Don't tell them, oh, make something happen. Specifically give them the play, Darko. Tell them exactly where they got to be and who's coming off where and what, and get them a wide open shot to make it happen. In some ways, when I see something like this, I feel like it's corny. I feel like it's half-assed. I feel like it's not very well prepared. I feel like it's not very professional. I feel like it's like a fail, because it's like you have an opportunity to win the game. You've got a last-second shot. The score is tied. This is the kind of shit that little kids dream of. And we're fucking around with it. We're wasting and squandering it. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's no good. That's no good. I'll blame Scotty and Darko on that. Scotty for not taking the initiative and not going for it. And then Darko for not giving them a more constructed play action that they could fulfill with structure and have success from it. In some ways, that was something Nick never did either. So it's not like I'm mad at Darko in some ways. In some ways, I don't understand these coaches that don't fucking call plays in important moments like this. Why do you just rely on your players' talent and say, oh, make something happen because you're such a top-level player and athlete? No, don't fucking do that. Give them structure. Tell them the play action that they should do. Because that's not a play action. Scotty walking up at the center court and just handing it off at the top of the three, and there's no like interaction. Nobody hit the defenders. Nobody did anything. He's not aggressive. He walked it up, and then he handed it to him. And Gary's like, whoa, now you're going to make me have to fucking manufacture an open shot with like 2 seconds to go. And you're not even giving me a good screen or anything like where I can run around you. Like, what the fuck? Use your head, y'all. And make a better opportunity out of your opportunities to win games and close them. Yeah, Bryce is here. Good morning, Lex and Rapper Freak family. Good morning to you, Bryce. I'm glad I got you in the chat and the Facebook finally. You can see what we do during the game. There's a little bit of kibitzing, talking about the game during the game. You can hear our opinions and see what we're doing. I say turn off those notifications because it might ding a lot. Ding, ding. Somebody's talking. Ding, ding. No, turn those notifications off and come check it when you feel like it. But yeah, it's fun in there. There's all kinds of good, interesting stuff talked about in that game, and I'm glad you're in there now, Bryce. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. I'm going to say it, and I don't care who disagrees. Scotty cost us that game. Yeah, I mean, I can say that too. I felt like that was true. His number was called at that point. If you're not going to do it, give it to RJ then. Seriously. If you're going to call number 4 at the end of the first overtime, and he's going to do what he did just now, well, he shouldn't get the next chance. In some ways, RJ got the chance at the end of regulation. He got a clean shot, but he missed the 3, and it was a really good play. That's the kind of play they should have set up at the end of the overtime. The way that they played Scotty and Emmanuel off, and then RJ got that three, that was a fantastic action. It got him an open shot. He just didn't make it. That's the kind of shit I want better instead of what happened at the end of overtime. And then, of course, in the second overtime, the home team's going to have an advantage in overtime every single time. The fact that it was we jumped out on them in the first overtime, and we should have kept that lead, but we let them get into it. And then the second overtime, they just were way better than us, and we couldn't keep up with them scoring. We were too tired. By then, we were like, and that was it. That was it. SGA closed it out with Wiggins, Wiggins. That's not Andrew Wiggins. Some other Wiggins, some generic Wiggins. It's like if you want Andrew Wiggins from Wish, you get that Wiggins, the one on Oklahoma City. Yeah, maybe he's better than Andrew Wiggins right now. I don't know. He got 20 last night. It's crazy. Chris is saying my issue also is that his finish at the rim is not top tier. It isn't. And does he doubt this in himself? Anyway, positive news is that Grady Dick was again a player out there driving for loose balls. All right. I don't agree with you talking about Scotty as far as his finishing near the basket. That's not true. He has a really good finish near the basket. In fact, he gets to flip these shots in all kinds of crazy ways with contact and all kinds of stuff. He's really, really good at this. So I'll disagree with the first part of your statement. It's not that he doubts in himself. I think he's just really, really tired last night. I think that at that point, at the end, where he was that point where I keep talking about, he was exhausted. That SGA had tired him out because he had been running around with guarding a guard for most of the game. This is part of the reason why I told people he shouldn't be playing point guard. Is because if he's got to guard SGA, he's going to be tired by the end of the game, and he's going to be useless to us offensively to help us win. Well, sometimes I'm right. And once again, I was last night. And that's why I say people that want Scotty to play guard, we don't want him running around with SGA the whole game because then he won't be able to hit the big shot. And that's it right there. That's it right there. Grady Dick was out there yesterday. Let's see what Grady did. Grady was on home court advantage. He had his parents there. They drove like 3 hours from their house in Kansas to be at the Oklahoma City game because it's very close. So there was a lot of people at the game last night in Oklahoma City that were there to see Grady specifically because they jumped the border from Kansas. A lot of Kansas fans came to the game. So Grady had a real following behind him in the building last night. Now, Grady was okay. He made both his shots. They were inside. They weren't threes. He made both his free throws. So it's like 2 and 2 in both cases. 1 assist, a +4 with 6 points. He only played 10 minutes. And it was kind of like he played in the first half, but he didn't really play later in the game at all. And he wasn't in any of the crucial moments later. But he looked good. In some ways, it started out with Cason Wallace killing it, making some shots very early in the game. Like the first couple shots that Oklahoma City made were Cason Wallace. And I was like, is this going to be another one of these games? It was Cam Whitmore on Friday. Now it's going to be Cason Wallace, and we're going to be like, we should have drafted this guy instead of Grady. In some ways, Cason was really good early, and he does look good, but he's short, and he's not got the height that Grady Dick does. And in some ways, that's going to be the thing that separates Grady Dick in the long run from a lot of these shorter shooting guards like Cam Whitmore, like Cason Wallace, like a Jordan Hawkins we're going to see tonight. So, yeah, I thought Grady was great. Grady's playing with poise and confidence. And you could tell he is, in some ways, he was more daring in the arena last night. I don't know why. Maybe his proximity to the state of Kansas, but he was being very daring, going at the basket aggressively. I like how he's been, when he does layups near the basket, he uses the rim to protect himself from the shot blocker. I like that he has some athleticism so he can kind of do an up and under and kind of shuffle it up over his shoulder into the basket. That's really good. There's a lot more about Grady that I'm liking more and more as we see. He's making me more won over with him, even though other rookies are excelling and looking better than him. He's not in the Rising Stars Challenge, but there's a lot of promise and interesting things happening with Grady right now. In fact, the defensive stuff for Grady is really impressing me right now. People may look, it's like, you keep saying that Grady could be like Caruso. I'm like, yeah, he could fucking be like Caruso. Wouldn't you like to have like a Caruso that's like 2 or 3 inches taller than the real Caruso? Yeah, I would too. And that could be what Grady develops into more, along with the 3-point shooting. Some sort of crazy 3-and-D specialist. He's a good 3-point shooter. And then he has some crazy ass defense. It's not that he's athletic or skilled in certain ways. It's just he's smart. He's Johnny on the spot. He knows where to go and be a shit disturber and get the ball loose. In some ways, that's very valuable. That's Caruso. You have a 6'8", 6'9" Caruso in development right now with us, and he shoots a better three than him. Look out. That's what I'm saying. There's some potential with Grady that's really, really good. Chris is saying, did you say Herb Jones was abducted? Haha. Yeah, his abductor has got him right now. This is the same injury that OG had last year, the abdominal abductor strain. Yeah, it's annoying. It's not fun. Clint Capella's got it too right now. Yeah, Herb Jones, OG, Clint Capella, abductors. Yeah, they have gotten notes in the mail that are on weird typewriters with weird letters and saying, if you want this guy back, Pelicans, you will send this amount of money to appear in New Orleans. And if you don't, well, he's just going to be abducted for a while. Yeah, that's what I meant, Chris. No, his abductor strained. He's strained with my bad jokes. That's right. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, Jimmy Pope, the Pope of positivity. I don't understand why we don't use our starting lineup to close games. What do you mean? We were switching guys in and out. In some ways, because of the nature of the double overtime and the extended play that those main guys played, they had to switch guys in and out. They even took Scott out for a brief second in the second overtime because he'd just been in the game for so long. He needed a breather. So they were flipping Dennis in with the 5 starters at the end of the game, and that's smart. In some ways, they got to take Pirtle out at certain times to close games because they may do hack-a-yak. It's also, they need him also at times to be out there for defensive rebounds and for defensive purposes. So they do the calculated switch, offensive defensive switch between him and Dennis. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, he took a Quickly out for a second too there, partly because Quickly took a ill-advised shot and was not smart with one of his decisions in the overtime with what he did with the shot he took. So Darko took him out for a brief second, but he wanted to give them a little carousel of rest around the second overtime because these guys had just played for so fucking long. They needed the rest. A double overtime game. They played most of the fourth quarter, and that's why. So there were 6 guys kind of closing the game out, the starters with Dennis. But I don't have any problem with that. Dennis is a caliber that can close games in a very smart, effective, veteran way. And the starters with Dennis kind of flipping in and out for matchups with Jakob is very smart. That's a high-level Darko kind of thing to do as a coach at the end of the game. Infamous is saying Scotty's not getting back on defense. Body language and lack of aggression down the stretch cost us the win. Alvin called it out. The Oklahoma City broadcast called it out and very well disappointed him. Yeah, listen, I'm not that disappointed in him. I really do believe, and listen, Infamous, that SGA, him guarding SGA primarily for most of the game, tired him the hell out. I think that would do to anybody. He was very concentrated. I think that his one priority last night going in the game was OG mindset. I'm going to shut the water off on SGA no matter what. I'm going to help this team by guarding him like OG would have guarded him. And I'm going to be like OG tonight. I'm going to put a lot of my emphasis and energy into stopping SGA. And he did with mixed results. He was very good at guarding him last night. SGA could have been way worse to us last night. And Scotty was doing a good job. So that's where a lot of that went. And once again, he got really tired late in the game. I think that was a big, huge part of it. He learned that there's levels to his conditioning he has to get to even further. I think that's what he learned last night. So, listen, everybody can say that he cost us the game, but it's a team effort. There's mistakes that other guys made too that could have helped us win. I mean, we could get real nitpicky. We could start talking about the missed free throws that were like, we only missed 4 free throws. But still, we could talk about that. We could talk, they shot not bad. I mean, they were shooting 40% from 3. That's fantastic. When a team shoots 40% from 3, that's good. They shot 48% from the field, 81% from free throw. Their turnovers weren't that bad. They actually had just 1 more turnover than Oklahoma City. If I look at the team stats and I really try and analyze why they lost, a big factor was that the Thunder were overshooting the 3. They had 110 shots on goal, and 63 of them were 3-pointers. They shot a lot of volume 3s, and they made 23 threes, and we only made 14. So that's part of it. But they shot way worse from 3 than we did. So I don't know, but 63 threes, that sounds crazy to me. that the Thunder took that many threes last night. It didn't even seem like they took that many threes. But if you think about it, almost all their players took threes. Like Chet, SGA, Lou Dort, the Wiggins guy, Giddy, they're all taking threes. So that's how they get to 63 threes out of 110 shots. Like that's a way higher percentage from outside than anywhere else. We did get to the line way more than them, which was fantastic. That's helpful. We did out rebound them. We actually won the out rebounding battle and still lost last night, which is crazy. We got 38 assists. We had 19 at halftime. It's crazy that we couldn't keep our record going in the last game against Houston. It's kind of bullshit. Let's see. Yeah, turnovers only one more than them. Points in the paint. We got way more points in the paint than them, 60-52. We had a 23-point lead last night. And we lost. Holy crap. I'm going to say this right now. Nobody be mad at Scotty. Don't be mad at him. Just understand this is the learning curve for him. He's got to learn how to be a superstar and when to take over games and when he has to do it. And in some ways, this is not what he's doing yet. And he will. Trust me, he will. He's going to get more aggressive and he's going to figure this out. Chris is saying, I watched the Oklahoma City stream. They said the same, Infamous. It cannot be doubted. Yeah, I don't care about those opinions, though. In some ways, we're thinking about this from our standpoint as positive Raptors fans, and we want Scotty to succeed. So what we're saying is these are the learning lessons. This is the kind of shit where he needs to understand, well, wow, I let an opportunity pass me by, and I don't want to let that happen again. That's the kind of shit that he learns from this. So hopefully, next time he's in a situation very similar to this, he takes the brass ring and he tries and makes it successful. And boom, something better happens. So Fiercely saying, Lex, disappointing loss, but it was an intense and exciting matchup. OKC are playoff ready. Very good pieces. Now that it's over, I can shout out my fellow Haitian Dort. Yeah, let's talk about the other side a little bit. I was really proud of Lou Dort too. In some ways, I can't get mad at him for hitting those threes on us yesterday. It was kind of really fun to see him do that. Lou Dort, 5 of 12 from the three-point line. In some ways, I was saying we can live and die letting Dort shoot all day. But, well, he started making them at a certain point, and it really did hurt us. But, yeah, Lou Dort, 8 of 19, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Yeah, Team Canada guys, awesome. SGA, only 23 points, but 14 assists, 9 rebounds. He had 1 more rebound. He would have had a triple-double. He didn't have a super exceptional game, SGA. We really did contain him to a degree, which was fantastic. But they get a balanced attack. They've got different weapons doing different things. They're young and they're inexperienced, and that was a factor at times. Our veteranship was beating them in certain ways, but they're well coached. They're getting more experience. They're figuring it out. SGA is ahead of his game for his age, and he is very much the leader and the head of the snake as far as taking the roles and showing the guys how to do things right. If they didn't have SGA, this team would be aimless. This team would have a lot of issues. And then the other thing is, much like the Rockets on Friday night, the Thunder are finally playing good defense. They were not a very good defensive team in the last few years, and they finally are playing some decent defense at times. So that's part of the newness of these young teams that didn't have any direction, is they didn't have any good defense. Well, these teams are getting good defenses now. And that is a factor in why they're doing better as teams also. So, yeah. Let's see. Jimmy's saying play calls are so good. Yeah, play calls. Yeah. I thought the refs were pretty good last night. Nothing too weird. Mark Davis was very no nonsense. He gave a technical to Emmanuel quickly on the bench. That was JT Orr. It's because Emmanuel jumped on the celebration on the court and got a technical there. But Mark Davis was no nonsense. I honestly really respected Mark Davis in the way he called the game last night. JT Orr, he was a little bit of a stickler. But this game was this game. The refs were fine. There wasn't really any screwiness. Some of our players couldn't find the 3-point line, and they stepped on it, and they made 2-pointers instead of 3-pointers. Emmanuel quickly. There were, some of the foul calls were kind of screwy, but for the most part, they were just letting people play. And we were getting the line, which is good. I'm glad they were calling some fouls. Country Kong's here. Good to see Country Kong JP. I'm certain that Darko is doing the T word. Grady was playing great in front of his parents, and Darko subbed him out and only let him play 10 minutes in a game. He was +4. Dennis was -23 in 35 minutes. You always bring up this comparison. It's lame. It's lame, Country Kong. In some ways, Dennis's experience and stuff. In some ways, Grady needs to be. You can't play Grady 30 minutes. Seriously, not right now. His conditioning's not good enough. I mean, we just went from a month ago that this guy's on a weight training program to get his muscles up. In some ways, you got to understand, JP. You can't keep bringing this comparison about Grady played this many minutes and Dennis played this many minutes. It's apples to oranges. You might as well just fucking say Grady played this many minutes and Scotty played this many minutes, or Grady played this many minutes and Gary played this many minutes. It doesn't fucking matter, Dennis. I don't understand why you bring this up. It's really annoying. In some ways, Grady's playing the amount of minutes that Darko feels comfortable playing him in. You can think in your head that Grady deserves more minutes, but Darko doesn't feel like he does. And he's the coach, and he matters. You don't. And I'm just going to say that. Grady is getting the development and the development he should be getting. Are you questioning Darko's development coaching skills of knowing what's best for his young players and how much they should be playing? Because that's what it sounds like. Listen, Grady could have played more. He would have gotten tired, maybe got burned on defense and got his ass kicked more. He's watching a lot of different stuff than just certain things. I in some ways, this is an annoying comment. It's a very annoying comment. It's something like a flavor of ice cream you were presenting us last week too. And it's you know what this once again, I'm going to say this sounds like a talking point or something. Maybe you thought of it yourself, but were you influenced from some other places that were, kind of stupid and dumb that are always bringing this kind of bullshit up? Because honestly, Grady's getting to play. He's playing good quality minutes for our team. And in some ways, if he played him more, it may get shittier. So I'm going to trust Darko on the minute allotment. In some ways, I don't give a shit if his parents are there. I don't give a shit the whole fucking state of Kansas is there. We're not catering to Grady. In some ways, we're trying to win the game. We're trying to play a good game. And Dennis is more helpful for us to win late because of his experience, his veteranness. So I don't get this. I don't get this. Somebody's trying to say, oh, Darko always subs out guys who are hot in the game. That's bullshit too. Whoever was saying that in the chat last night, that's bullshit. I don't know. Anyway, if I keep hearing you comparing the minutes of Grady to Dennis's, I'm just gonna be like, shut up. Shut up, JP. That's a dumb talking point. You could compare his minutes to any of the other fucking Raptors. Why Dennis? That makes me think you're coming from that fucking shitty ass channel. Seriously, that's what that makes me think. Jimmy's saying sarcasm. Oh, you were being sarcastic. Well, that has to be next to the other comments so that I understand. Jimmy's saying, if we were developing, I don't want to see a 30-year-old point guard play big minutes in clutch time. Excellent effort from the team overall, though. Night and day compared to the last. See, I'm disagreeing with you guys. In some ways, if we wanted to try and win the game last night, we needed Dennis out there. Seriously. There's a balance to this, guys. We're developing our guys, and we're playing some of our guys around to help guide them. In some ways, we're better off than the Oklahoma City Thunder because we have Thaddeus and Dennis out there with those young guys. In some ways, they're a guardrail. In some ways, they're a safety net. In some ways, they're capable and they understand things and they can help us inside the game and teach while we're doing the game. Did you not hear what I said earlier about Dennis and him mentoring Scotty in a way that he can help him understand some of the stuff that he did with LeBron earlier? Do you guys not see the fruit of that? Do you not see the connection between Dennis and Scotty that's going on right now that is fruitful and good? There is actually literally a very good connection with them at this point. I see the rhythm pass from Scott in transition to Dennis in the corner, and he hits the three in rhythm because Scott knows how to hit him in the rhythm. They're on the same wavelength now. And I don't know if you guys are noticing that right now, that Dennis and Scotty are playing very well off each other at this point. That, I don't get this. Y'all can be anti-Dennis all you want. I'm going to tell y'all to fuck off because we need him right now. And playing him how we play him is smart. And y'all can say, oh, we shouldn't be playing him instead of Grady. No, fuck that. Grady's not ready. And Darko knows better. And Darko wants to have his guy out there that is his guy, his avatar on the court. He's going to play him. And that's what Dennis is. Dennis is his avatar. Dennis is Darko on the court because he's the one who knows Darko the best. And in some ways, he's the one Darko trusts the most. He is. He very much is. And I can see why. Because Dennis is a high-level FIBA MVP, and he fucking plays at a very, very fucking high level and a competitive level. And he's busting his ass out there, sweating his ass off, and y'all fucking ungrateful motherfuckers are talking this shit about him all the time. Seriously. Stop being so ungrateful towards our FIBA MVP, Dennis Schroeder. Seriously, he's out there leading. He's busting his ass. He's hitting the ground. He's getting hit. He's sweating his ass off. And y'all are fucking ungrateful like this, saying, why the fuck is this guy playing at the end of the game? You know, I want Scotty to take the shots like Dennis is. In some ways, yeah, it was annoying that Dennis was taking late shots. It should have been RJ. It should have been Emmanuel. It should have been Scotty. But those guys aren't stepping up and taking them. And it's not that Dennis is freezing them out. The opportunities are there. Somebody's got to try and shoot it. If somebody's not, and they're being passive like Scotty was, well, Dennis is going to fucking step up and try and take the shots himself. Good. Because somebody's got to. Seriously, y'all. Don't turn like this. Don't turn like this. I'm hearing y'all both dump on Dennis Schroeder. There's no reason. There's no reason. There's no reason y'all pointing him out like this. It's stupid. So stupid. Seriously, y'all. Come on. Chris is saying Country Kong. Maybe Grady could have put length on Dort, but go Team Canada. Even Eddie killing it at Purdue. Love that we seem to have a legit center also. Travis Scott last night. Who was that? Laugh out loud. I have no idea what you're saying, Chris. You're all over the fucking place on your comment. Maybe Grady could have put length on Dort. We had Scotty guarding Lou Dort, and he was shooting threes. We were leaving Lou Dort on purpose, partly because he's a good three-point shooter sometimes, but sometimes he's very off, and he can miss a lot too, and he was. You know, it was a concerted effort in certain ways. Listen, Dort is going to do what Dort does. We left him alone because in some ways he's the easiest person to leave alone on their lineup. Everybody else is way more dangerous, and that's part of it right there. All right, Zach Edey. I don't know why you're bringing up Zach Edey. Good for him. I hope he plays well for Canada this summer. And I don't know if you're talking about a legit center for Canada or for Raptors. Are you talking about Pirtle or are you talking about Eddie? I don't fucking know. And Travis Scott, I don't give a shit about Travis Scott. It's music. I don't give a shit. Who the fuck is Travis Scott? It's a musician. Is he at the game? I don't care. I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit about Travis Scott. Infamous saying 3 theories I have. Someone close to him will be traded soon. He's injured or the all-star snub has gotten to him. You're talking about Scotty? All right, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. He's doubled down, and he's more serious than ever right now. In fact, in some ways, this is what he's done. The new headband is signifying a new mindset, a new attitude, a new, like, y'all fucking shafted me on the All-Star. Well, if he really wants to do this, he's got to step up. Last night, he shied away from the opportunity. He didn't take it. You're going to recognize this, Scott, and you're going to hear it from different people today. You may not hear it as kindly as you do from me, from other people. You got to take those opportunities and shine in them because people are going to be coming out like this kind of bullshit afterwards. You're saying he's injured? Yeah, I think partly he was injured last night. I think he's partly hobbling a little bit. That may have been part of it. I think he was really tired. Guarding SGA is not easy. Most humans in this world cannot guard SGA in any kind of way on a basketball court. So he's saying someone close to him will be traded soon. Listen, Scott, this is a business. You understood. If you're going to be the franchise face, we're rebuilding around you. Well, these guys are going to go. No, let's not like make the excuse that he's emotional or he's in his head or any of that kind of bullshit. No, this is the NBA. He's got to fucking be a pro and man up. He's got new teammates. He's got new people around. That's just how it is. If he's in his head because Chris is about to get traded, well, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. You're in a business, bro. This is what you signed up for. You wanted to fucking keep this team together. Y'all should have won. You would have won, then maybe we could have kept this team together, but we couldn't because y'all didn't win. So that's the fucking penalty of it. So sorry, OG and Pascal and Chris are gone. Chris is going to be gone next. Oh, well, fuck. You can get upset about it, but it's just what it is. It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. I don't have theories like this. My theory is he guarded SGA. He was tired, and that's it. All-star snubs gotten to him. Okay, maybe it annoys him. It should feed his fire. Fiercely saying it, Jimmy, you have a point. I like Dennis, but if we're being honest, he's a seasoned vet. No need to develop, even though quickly has some weird shot selections. He need more time to develop. You guys are missing the point of this. It's not always about developing on every single fucking play. You need vets out there to guide too. And once again, if Dennis feels like our team is underwater, drowning on offense, he will take it in his own hands and try and score baskets for us. And that's all he's doing, y'all. He's not trying to be a selfish ball hog. It's just that in some ways, our team is not aggressive. It has not been an aggressive team for a while. That was part of our problem last year. We have all these top-level talents like Pascal and OG and Scotty, but nobody's fucking stepping up and being a dog and taking over the game. I've been complaining about this for 2 years. Y'all have heard me. Y'all can do this. There's no excuse. Y'all are not being aggressive. Y'all are not taking it. And you can see last night how Scotty handled that I'm right. That he could have been more aggressive in the past, as OG could have been more aggressive, as Pascal could have been more aggressive. We see RJ being aggressive. If nobody else is going to be aggressive, then Dennis will step up and be aggressive. Do you guys not understand this? Those things are there for Pascal and Scotty and them to take, and they chose not to take them. So Dennis has to jump in there and do it in their place. Do you not understand that, y'all? It's not that we're developing Dennis. It's not like we just go 100% development when we do this mode. No, there's a balance still. And having a veteran leadership of a FIBA MVP like Dennis Schroeder is valuable and good. And God forbid Dennis tries to help us win by taking shots and shooting them in the basket to help the Raptors win. That's his fucking job. That's his job. It's to put the ball in the hoop. What is his job? Seriously, y'all. Seriously. Let's stop this whole fucking thing with Dennis. Seriously, this dude is on our team. He's a good bro, and we should be glad we have him. Y'all fucking shit all over him in stupid ass ways all the time. It pisses me off. Seriously. Fiercely saying he was in the run for 6-man last season. He's on the rise. Put more time into him. You're talking about Quickly. Well, we did. We let Quickly take over for sections at the end of the game, and he was a mixed bag of good and bad. He made some of the shots, and some of them were really poor shot selection, not team game kind of stuff. In some ways, Darko's going to have to work with Emmanuel over the next couple of years to refine his offensive game to make the right decisions about when to pass and when to shoot himself. In some ways, we've got to break him of some of his habits that are not good habits, with as far as like playing out of control. Some of the shit that Quickly did last night is not far off from the out of controlness of Precious Achiuwa. Let's just put it that way. So we need to get Quickly to rein it in a little bit. And that's part of his development. Quickly got tons of development last night. Seriously, he got huge opportunities to take big shots, and he hit some of them. He was really key in the fourth quarter, and he did some really good stuff. So it's a mixed bag with him. Dennis is not taking away from Quickly. He's not taking away from Scotty. If there's somebody pushing that narrative out there named Panzer or somebody fucking like that, don't listen to them. Seriously. It's a team game. There's enough for all of them. If we're drowning, we're underwater, and we need somebody to score, Dennis steps up and he tries to make a shot. Don't get mad at him. We need people to try and score for our team. It's basketball. You have to score baskets. If Scotty's not going to want to go do it, then Dennis go do it. That's what I'm saying right there. Let's see. Chris is saying at Fiercey, IQ has to tighten up his game. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just saying. Too many high degree of difficulty shots. Yes, he can get better shots and have better judgment on what he's setting up for himself. Some of it's really good. Some of it's he's really relying on his ultra talent to make some really high, crazy circus shots. And some of it is like, okay, you can kind of make them easier or higher percentage. It's the same thing with Gary last year. Gary's taken a lot of low percentage trick shots over people and bending this way. Well, he cleaned it up this year. That's one of the things Darko told Gary Trent. He said, you can't take these poor low percentage shots that are not good shots anymore. Nick may have wanted you to, and you were somewhat successful doing the DeMar DeRozan, beating two guys that are guarding you stuff, leaning this way and shooting off your 1 foot. No, we don't want to do that anymore. We want you to shoot squared up, really good open shots. And in some ways, that's what Darko's going to have to talk to him quickly about, is figuring out his better shot selection for higher percentage chances of making the shot. And yeah, that's for sure. But he is able to get into better percentage ones. He just has to learn to be more efficient. Yeah, Chris and I are on the same page exactly on this. And Fiercey's saying, yes, she's with it too. Jimmy's saying, I like Dennis, but at this point in our team history, I feel like he shouldn't be getting those late clutch minutes. He's getting in the way of others' development or team development in general. He's not. He's helping it. Jimmy's saying our starting lineup needs those clutch minutes together. They're out there. As I said, he's switching them out. The starting lineup was out there. It's just that the double overtime with all the minutes and the tiredness of those guys, they had to catch breathers for them. So he integrated just Dennis, just one guy, his 6th man, his most trusted player, to give guys breathers. And it wasn't even that he was in there for most of it. He was just kind of subbed in and out, and he was on the bench for a lot of the end of the fourth quarter and most of the overtimes. Dennis is out there because he's steady and he's trusted. And what you can say, I wish we had Grady out there. Well, fuck, maybe he would have fucked us up, and we wouldn't even gotten as far as we did. Grady out there because he doesn't know what he's fucking doing completely. That's part of it too. You guys got to let the coach make the judgments of this. Y'all can't be second guessing shit like Grady should have played at the end of the game, so it's good for his development. You don't decide that. You don't fucking know. Seriously, maybe he's like, yeah, this isn't a good time for me to play Grady because I understand in basketball terms that he will get ate up in this kind of formation by the Thunder because they'll just do this and they'll pick on him. It's just like if they're going to go hack a yak, that's a weakness. Well, Grady could be a weakness on defense late in the game, and they could really take him apart in some ways. You guys got to think this through. It's just easy to say, oh, for development, we should have played Grady at the end of the game for his development. He's not ready. Well, he's not ready. And Darko knows that better than you. What if he's not ready? He's not ready because they're going to pick him apart, and then they're going to just have an easy time scoring on that one particular player on our team because he's not ready completely. And get away with playing him minutes as a rotational guy in the middle of the game, get his feet wet, but in the crunch time when it really matters, maybe he is not ready for that yet. And y'all don't decide that he's ready over Dennis. Darko does. And thank God. Because seriously, y'all are just thinking, oh, just because Grady should be out there for the development. He's not ready. He's not ready. We literally are coming from a month ago. We didn't even know if he's going to make the league. And we see some good things from him in a couple of games over the last couple of weeks. And y'all are ready to fucking let him close the game out and win it for us? No. Fiercely saying RJ doesn't like losing. He said he wanted to trash talk, but he couldn't. They should all have that mindset. Yeah, I love that. That's what I'm saying. That's my dude. He's a real one. He's a real Toronto guy. He's a real Mississauga. He's a real Team Canada. He takes this shit seriously. I love that. Yeah, he doesn't want to lose. He's doing that Kyle Lowry shit. Yeah. Country Con saying, I'm starting to wonder about Scotty. His impact on winning is undeniable. He was a +4, but I'm not sure he wants to be the player you all want him to be. He seems to want to blend in and not stand out. I don't know either. I do question this. Now, JP, I disagree with your last statement, but this one I've wondered about too. In some ways, once again, I wonder if he's more of a Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, and he's not necessarily like a big time like Dame Lillard or like I'm going to take over and win the game kind of guy. In some ways, that's annoying to me. But the great thing is if he is like that, maybe RJ will be more of that guy for us or Emmanuel with the BBQ setup. In some ways, it may be that Scott shouldn't be relied on for clutch. If he wants to, he should. If he thinks he can do it, he should. But if he doesn't, if he's shying away from it, well, then we should be pushing it to RJ. We should be giving the ball to Emmanuel at the end of the games and let them take the big shots if Scotty doesn't want to do it. I don't think this is true, though. It doesn't make any sense, Country Calm. In some ways, I know Scott wants to be this guy, and he does have it, and he will show it. It's a learning curve. As Alvin said at the end of the game, growing pains. There's just growing pains. In some ways, he's ignorant to his powers and just how influential he can be on the game. And he's still learning them. As he grows in the powers, he understands how powerful he is. He'll understand how he can exert his powers on the court that will add up to success for the Toronto Raptors. And that's just part of it. In some ways, he's learning the success of guarding a top-level player like SGA right now. Maybe he's listened to OG and said, OG did the defense first. And he's like, well, I'm going to get the baseline of being a very good defender like OG, and then I'm going to add all that other stuff later. It's kind of how OG built his career and his player profile, was he really got the defensive stuff down in his earlier years, and he started expanding the offensive stuff more and more in the years more recent. So I don't know. He could be trying to be like OG and saying, I'm going to do the defensive stuff first, and I'll get that offensive stuff later. Either way, Scott's got a lot he can improve and figure out, and he can grow into in an amazing way. And that's the great thing. All the signs are there. He's going to be great no matter what. And honestly, the way he makes shots, he's going to be a clutch player. It'd be a shame if he wasn't. If he just was like some sort of weird anomaly, it's like, dude, you're so undefeated, like when making your shots. but you don't take big shots at the end of the game to try and win the game for them. Like, what's going on with that? Why are you shy away at that time? Why are you so unselfish and pass it to everybody else instead of taking over yourself? There may be a crossroads in his life when he's thinking about this, maybe sooner than later. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go take the ball and make it myself. That's what I want him to start thinking about. Seriously. G saying Scotty started aggressive and liked his game overall, but a few things. He needs to mature a bit more. Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot, all these young players do. End of the game tied with 4 seconds left. He should have driven. Why did they go for a 3? Yeah, I don't understand that. That was poor judgment. He should never handed the ball to Gary. He should have just used his ultra talent to make himself get an open shot, whether it was driving or whether, he needed to get closer for sure. So he shouldn't have been lackadaisical. He should have gotten the ball and aggressively went right at them because that's not very long, 4 seconds. But that is enough time to drive into the lane and try and either get fouled. In some ways, it would have been smarter to give the ball to RJ because he has a very good acumen to drawing fouls. So even if RJ hadn't made the shot, he might have gotten the lane and gotten hit on the arm and put on the line to win the game for us. Now, the refs aren't usually going to do that. It's better off if he tries to make it. But I like the way RJ finishes in the lane through contact these days. He's pretty successful. So in some ways, maybe I would have called the number 9 at the end of the first overtime. In some ways, Scott, you need to watch out because Darko may not call your number next time or in other situations like this because he sees you're shying away from it. And that's something you need to not want. You want to take those big shots and be a superstar and be no name in this league? Well, you need to not shy away from that. You need to take those opportunities, but Darko may not call your number next time because you didn't handle it correctly last night. And that's the crazy thing. Carlos saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Tough loss last night. Yeah, it sucks. In some ways, it is what it is. But, we'll try and take the best of it, the bright side. G saying, I think if RJ needs to drive for some clutch moments, to be honest, he plays through contact. He's not afraid of the moment. This is G once again. I don't even know if I pre-read your comment in osmosis through the side of my eye. I don't know. I just say the exact same thing you just said. Jimmy saying, Darko said the play was for IQ, I believe, because SGA had 5 fouls. See, that's another thing that I feel like they failed at the end. They had SGA with 5 fouls for a long time in this game, and they should have went at him and fouled his ass out. That is something that I wish the players had been more cognizant of and maybe directed towards doing. Because that's a good point, Jimmy, for sure. Jimmy saying, so that was Darko's call, but the handoff to Gary, I don't know. That was a bad move. Scott should have been looking at 100%. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. That was a drop ball by Scott at the end of the game. I'm going to be critical of him at any point in anything. That is the one place I will be critical. I think that most of the game he was fantastic. And he did a really, really good job for the most part. I wish he'd scored more late in the game, but that's an indicator that he was tired. That really is. The fact that he only got 1 point in the fourth quarter and in both of the overtimes, that is an indicator that he was very tired of chasing around SGA. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I'm staying positive. OKC kept losing last year. It was dreadful. I'm hoping Darko uses the same approach as their coach in terms of development, establishing strengths, and adapting better plays. The relationship between Coach Mark and Darko is they worked together for 5 years. Before the game, Coach Mark of the Oklahoma City Thunder was talking about how he knows Darko very well. It also seemed like they weren't really friends, though. They may have been friendly competitors that worked on the same staff, but I don't think they're very close. It did seem like that. So they have a little bit of an intertwining history. I think this is great, Fiercey. I agree. I feel like in some ways Thunder have been smart because they've been developing their team in a certain way, even through the losing, and now it's paying off. And that is the kind of way we want to do what we're going to do too in the near future too. Carlos saying, question the family, is this shit on Darko? Should Darko use plays that use Scotty? I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel like we need to blame people too much. I can say Scotty dropped the ball at the end of the first overtime. We could probably say that there's some things that Darko could have done differently, like go after SGA a little bit better or maybe better play calling. But I still feel like in some ways the team did so well that we got to look at it that in some ways and not totally look at the final result. That we played a high-level Western Conference team, very toe-to-toe for most of the game. We played very good defense in the first half, and that's something to build off of. So in some ways, the outcome's negative, but there's a lot of positives about yesterday's game. And nitpicking about like some of the things that we didn't do right is good for constructive criticism, but also it's unnecessary to go overly negative and be really upset about this game yesterday. I think that if some people are really upset about this game yesterday, they should just chill. Because honestly, we went head to head with one of the top teams in the league, and we played their asses off for two overtimes, and they won right at the end. And in some ways, the home court advantage was a huge part of that too. So, yeah, we can second guess some of the things Darko did, but I'm not really trying to blame anybody right now. I feel like people are trying to blame people too much right now. I feel like that's part of the problem with Raptors Nation is if we lose a game, even if we're in this state of development, we're not probably going to win a lot. They still want to blame people and point fingers. Like, I'll say Scott had the opportunity to win the game, but I'm not going to blame him for why we lost. I'm just saying you could have won it for us. You could have done it for us, but you didn't. But in some ways, I'm not blaming him for losing. The whole team lost. The coach lost too. It's a collective. Let's see. Carlos saying, okay, I already read that. Jimmy's saying Darko and his decisions need and will get better. We grow as a team, hopefully. Yeah, as much as those teams are in development, the players, the young guys, Darko in some ways is in development as a head coach in the NBA level too. And that has to be part of figuring things out too. He's going to be very critical of himself and think about where he can improve and do better too. And I'm sure that he will get better at time also as a coach for sure. G saying Scotty would defer to Fred and Pascal. He is now still deferring to others. So Carlo JS, in my opinion, this is on Scotty. He literally passed it off when he could have driven. He will learn. Yeah, I hate that. In some ways, all you idiots who were saying Fred and Pascal are taken away from Scotty. Well, Scotty was wanting them to, obviously. That's exactly the right word. Fred was being deferred to by Scott. And in some ways, that was the right move. Once again, I'll say this. If Fred's on our team right now, we would have won that game last night. Yeah. If Fred VanVleet was in a Raptor jersey playing for the Raptors last night, we would have won the game last night. I'm telling you, in some ways, there's a factor with Fred that gets you to win on the game like the game last night. I'll say that right now. If we had Kyle, maybe we wouldn't even won with just Kyle Lowry, even in the state that he's in right now. There's just a certain winning attitude and way of doing things to take over in certain points and organize a team and make sure that they close it out and win in the right way. It's a similar thing to the other close game that we lost on this trip, Atlanta. We could have won that game too if we had VanVleet. Seriously. These close losses on this road trip have been annoying. This road trip has been weird. The route by the Rockets, these two close losses, and then the win over the Bulls was nice. That was at least nice. Well, let's see if we win tonight. Can we beat Charlotte on Wednesday? Hey, we'll see. Let's see. Seymour saying tough loss, but this comes with building greatness. That's exactly right. Seymour's awesome. Chris is saying tired. There's no such thing as tired when you have the ball at the top of the circle, ball in hand, able to win. All the other players on both teams were just as tired, shaking my fucking head. Nah, you go and try and chase SGA around. And you're a big man like Scotty. Nah, I could tell he was tired because he was chasing SGA. Seriously. And honestly, he did such a good job on SGA that I understand why he's tired. So, yeah, give him a little bit of an allowance for this. I told people this. If he's going to be a guard and he's going to have to guard guards, well, he's going to be tired. That's going to happen. Carlos saying, the good thing is he's only in his third year. I hope Darko drills this into him and he has to take over. Yeah, he's going to learn. He'll figure it out. In some ways, I wish he was innately like this. You see people like Cason Wallace, Cam Whitmore, Jordan Hawkins. You're like, these guys are ballers. They know what it takes, and they're doing this. In some ways, we're sad because we look at Grady, and then we look at Scotty even, and we're like, why are you not doing that kind of shit? I mean, you do a lot of really good shit in certain stuff, but in some ways, that clutch and that taking over thing, that dog in you kind of take over the game, Ben Mathurin kind of shit, where is that? That's what I want to know, Scott. We're trying to figure this out with you, bro. We'll figure it out. Infamous saying Scotty is the best player on the team, and we all love him. RJ, however, is that dog. He is the best scorer on this team, period. Quickly needs to stop the shot jacking. Yak played very well. Needs more touches. Yeah, that's a good statement all around. I think that it's all pretty accurate. He's the best player on the team, but he may not be the best clutch or best scorer. And that may be RJ. And these roles more defined and people kind of understand them. Well, they can excel at them and understand them and do better in the future. Yeah, I think everything Infamous said on this statement is very fair and pretty on point. Mugabe saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Scotty's not ready. He needed 2 more years with Pascal beside him, but the front office is too cheap. This losing is going to stunt Scotty's growth. Fuck you, Mugabe. With all due respect, that's a negative mindset. And that's not the right attitude. You have a grudge against the Raptors for Pascal leaving, and you keep saying they're cheap. Just let go of that. In some ways, we did what we needed to do because of things for our bookkeeping. And it's just how it is. Now, you're saying that it's stunting his growth? No, it's not. And anything, in some ways, keeping Siakam around may have done that instead. That would have been what stunted his growth because he'd be relying on Siakam too much. Now he's without a net of Siakam being around, and now he has to do it himself. So, no, this is a wrong comment. You can't say this. First of all, the front office is not being too cheap. They're being smart and proactive and not losing a great player like Siakam for nothing. So they got something. In some ways, we can't have this way. It's like everybody complained about what happened with Fred last year. Well, they made sure that shit didn't repeat this year. So I'm proud of my front office for doing that. I didn't want to see Siakam go. You want to say the front office is cheap? Don't say the front office is. Say the owners are. Because that's who's fucking cheap. You want to say somebody's cheap? Don't say the front office is cheap. And don't go around in other places saying that shit, Mugabe, because you're not helping things. If you're putting a bullseye on Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster, you can go ahead and put that bullseye on Ed Rogers III. You can go put that bullseye on the ownership group. But don't say the front office is cheap. You can say ownership is cheap, but you better not fucking say the front office is, because you may be putting something on Masai that's so unfair that he's in the middle. He's like, I want to keep Pascal. I want to invest in him. Ed Rogers, you cannot, Masai. I won't pay for it. I really want to keep him. And then Masai comes and tells us, I did everything I could to keep this team together. So you don't know that, Mugabe. So why are you going to blame the front office? Blame the ownership. If you really want to say somebody's cheap, start saying that Ed Rogers III is cheap. And stop saying that Masai and Bobby were, because they may not have made the decision that they would have if they could have got the money. So, yeah, just clarify it, because in some ways you'll feel the fire that's anti-Masai when you say bullshit like that in other places. So say it's the front office. No, it's the ownership that is cheap. And yeah, don't be fucking saying shit like Scotty's growth is being stunted. That's bullshit. His growth is on fast track, and he's learning and getting those tough trials right away. He's guarding Nikola. He's guarding SGA. He's guarding Kawhi. He's guarding LeBron. He's guarding the top players in this league, and his growth is not stunted. It's just he's morphing and going through an evolution, just like a butterfly. He's got to go through the metamorphosis, and he's going to get the new skills. And in some ways, it's right out in the open. We see it. In some ways, it's on the inside, and you don't see it too. So, yeah, God forbid, spite that statement, you saying that Scotty Barnes' growth is stunted. God forbid you say that, Mugabe. Ooh, very, very bad. I almost want to give you a strike, but I won't. Jimmy's saying, without Yak, our offense just dries up. The pick and rolls and the off-ball movement when Yak has the ball in the high post is key. It just opens everything up. You saw the change right as he subbed out. The other person that really stirs the drink is RJ. Holy crap. He makes things happen for us offensively. And, man, that's part of the reason why I love that guy so much. Yeah, I see the difference with Yak out and in for sure. And that's part of the reason why Darko had to use him more in certain places. And some, he played a lot late in the game, which was interesting. Some ways he's a detriment at the end of the game because of the hacky yak, but he really played him a lot near the end. And that one missed free throw was good because we got the possession and we actually got a score on top of it. So it kind of worked out. Most saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Scotty is starting to remind me more of DeMar when he gets frustrated with the refs in Toronto. Just play, but he will learn. He's better about this. He's not as bad as he was, but he still could improve. And I feel like in some ways he's getting better relationships with the referees. He's definitely talking to them and communicating, in some ways much more civilly at this point. He's asking questions. He's getting clarifications. He's talking to them, and he's talking to them before games. So the more he gets relationships with the different refs around the league, the better the calls will be for him. Trust me. This is good. This is good. And, as much as the learning curve of DeMar DeRozan, people weren't there for that, and they didn't understand what DeMar did to build himself up to be this point and why he told Scotty Barnes recently after the Chicago game, Go through the good and bad and learn the lessons from it. It will make you the best player you can be in the end. That's what Scotty's got to do right now. If nobody was there from 2012 to 2018 with DeMar DeRozan in his climb as a superstar, becoming who he became, and how much there was a work in progress of success and failure, you will not totally understand Scotty's journey that's in front of him right now that he's on already. That DeMar had to go through ups and downs as a player with this kind of stuff too, as far as taking over, as far as being successful, as far as recognizing it. This is all the regular learning curve for players in the NBA that are going to possibly be franchise players or superstar players that need to carry your team to the end to win. And it's just a learning curve. And DeMar went through it. And Raptors fans that were around and that saw that process with DeMar DeRozan should understand that it's a similar thing with Scotty now. Now, newer fans that have no idea because they weren't around 10 years ago and didn't see all that kind of shit at that time. Well, I don't expect you to understand this shit. And I don't expect you to have realistic opinions or educated ones because you just don't fucking understand the reality of the NBA and player development and what it takes to get better and better in this league. And that's what I'm saying. So if you want to understand, go watch DeMar DeRozan from 10 years ago and educate yourselves, Johnny-come-latelys, as Raptors fans after the championship. Then maybe you'll understand the journey a superstar has to go through to get to success in the NBA. Yeah, it's a good comparison. The DeMar stuff, for sure, Monique. A good comparison indeed. And always happy to see you here. Wayne saying a good effort from the start. Teammates just have to learn each other's spots on the floor more. Quickly needs top of the key, not corner shots. But I heard Darko say that's where he wants shooters. Yeah, Darko said in an interview recently, he wants 12 corner threes in every single game. Now, when he says corner threes, he doesn't just mean the corners in the very corners, like the typical corner threes. He means the top corners too. He means like in the ones near the half court also. So any of those four corners can be corner threes that he wants. And he wants, as a quota, as much as he wants 25 assists a game for the team, he wants 12 corner threes shot for the team also, make or miss. So that's something he's drumming into them. Paint touches, corner threes, this kind of stuff. He wants certain amount of things happening for them to be successful. Fun guy saying, man, what the hell was that yesterday? I wish we could take RJ's aggression and slap it on Scotty. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Scotty, pay attention to RJ and his fire and emulate him. And, let it rub off on you. In some ways, this is why RJ being on this team is so awesome, is because hopefully, a spark from him can light a fire on Scott. Just a little flicker flies over to him. And then all of a sudden, Scotty's like getting a mentality like RJ does. Hey, look out. Scotty had the mentality that RJ does with the competitiveness and the things like that. And the more like that, look out. This league's in trouble because Scotty is very powerful. RJ isn't as powerful as him, but he gets a lot more out with his aggression and his competitiveness. And in some ways, them being in proximity and around each other, and I feel like they like each other. I feel like they have good synergy. I feel like they got good rhetoric and camaraderie already that hopefully, it will rub off on him. And it'll be a big step in Scotty's development as a superstar. Kareem saying, is this a case of Scotty being tired or not ready for the spotlight? I was more upset with our defense at the end of regulation with an easy roll to the rim for the tie. Yeah. I think we did look tired as a team in certain ways. That's part of the reason why I question the shorter rotation for Darko last night. I really do feel like he should have played Chris. Chris should have probably been out there. Maybe Jordan Wara should have gotten some burn. Then neither one of them got to play. If I'm being a little nitpicky and critical, I would have played more guys, and maybe they wouldn't have looked so tired. And he doesn't know there's going to be overtime or double overtime. And some ways you got to plan for that also. That's part of the reason why you don't play your starters so heavy, is because you may get an overtime game all of a sudden. And then boom, yikes. And it's the first night of a back-to-back. Yeah. Sometimes you got to give more minutes to more of the rotation just in case. And last night was one of those just in cases. I think Scotty was tired. I don't know. I don't understand why he passed it off. He may have been on down low, hurt a little bit, and he didn't feel like he could shoot as well. And that's why he shied away from shooting later in the game. And he was just like, I'll be a facilitator. My leg is not right. I'm not moving as well. And I don't feel like I should take the shots. I'm going to give them to other people. That may have been very conscious effort by him, or a decision by him, that he's like, I'm going to give it to other guys because I don't feel exactly 100% and I'm tired. Fun guy saying Scotty is a shy person. Not sure I can trust him to be a franchise player. He is a little bit of a shy person. He's definitely a shy person in real life. He's an outgoing personality too. It's like weird. He's got a dichotomy to him. He's very out person to be on Twitch like he was, but then also at the same time, I could see where he freaked out at the Subway event and he was like, I have to get out of here. There's too many people around me. I hate interviews. I don't want to do podcasts. In some ways, like, I could see this. I don't know. In some ways, he's an enigma. We're gonna have to figure out if he can be that franchise clutch player, or is he just a glue guy that is very multi-talented and very, very exceptional and really good to have on your team also. Jimmy saying, my one play frustrated me. Dennis was iffy on gambling on the double on SGA, but was hesitant. As a result, gave Chet a wide open 3 to take a 4-point lead with like 2 minutes left in the second overtime. Yeah, I don't remember that play specifically, but they did gamble off Chet at that time. I remember that too. I mean, in some ways, that's a gamble that you can take. In some ways, Chet is very good 3-point shooter, but he did miss a lot of threes also last night. So I don't know. In some ways, we couldn't keep up with them on all the places where they were last night. And, once again, I think fatigue was an issue. It really was. In some ways, we played our guys so much yesterday. We really do. We really, really do. Jimmy's saying, be more deliberate with your defense. You can't give a wide open shot like that in double overtime. It's tough, too, because that guy's so tall. In some ways, it's even if you run a runner at him, he's so tall, he can just see over them anyway. It's a difficult thing. We never played Holmgren until yesterday for the first time. And it was an interesting first look of the Raptors against Holmgren. I thought we were overall mostly successful against him. That, he could have been much worse in some ways. I mean, he had a good game still. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, oh, yeah, you already read that. Jill's here. Good morning, peeps. Good morning to you, Jill. And Carla's here also. Carla on the East Coast. Good morning, Raptor freaks and Lex. What an exciting game last night. It's too bad it didn't result in a W, but damn, what a game. We needed fourth quarter Scotty to show up, and he did, but only on defense. Yeah. Good to see you, Carla. Always good to see our East Coaster checking in a little bit later in the day. Fun guy saying, don't worry, all February 8th is closed. There will be far more completion. Yeah, let's see what happens. Chris feels like he's going to get traded. I'm pretty sure he feels like he's about to get traded at any moment. So let's just do this. Let's get it fucking over with. Rip the Band-Aid off, Masai and Bobby. You're going to fucking make a trade. Don't wait. I mean, maybe wait till tomorrow on an off day. Don't do it on a day when we have a game. The crazy thing is there's only 2 days this week that we don't have games on. Thursday and tomorrow. So will there be a trade on Tuesday or Thursday, the day of the trade deadline on Thursday? Is it going to wait till then? Or are they going to do it tomorrow? Charlotte, I can get away with the trade tomorrow or the game of the day of the Charlotte game on Wednesday. If you're going to do something, just do it. Just get it over with. Let's just start moving towards where we're finally going to be and stop being in such a in-between limbo. Just do it. If you're going to trade Chris, trade Chris. If you're going to trade Bruce, trade Bruce. Just fucking get this shit done, Bobby and Masai. If you're going to do this shit before the trade deadline, just get it done. Just get it done. Seymour saying the future is bright. I'm locked in. Teams we needed to get back on are Portland, Houston, OKC. We got our get back on Chicago. My list need checks. Yeah, if Kyle's not here to do it, Seymour's going to be keeping the list. But we got get back to go get at. I love it. I love it, Seymour. That's awesome. Tristan saying we look good for most of the game. Love that. Not exactly sure what happened down the stretch. Jakob looked good. Hopefully this can be a good learning experience. I'm with that all around, Tristan. It's a good learning experience for sure. And he's saying, oops, didn't mean to send that. What do you mean? That was fine comment. It's all good. Trevor's saying, Doc, take over. He's now 1-3. You're talking about the Bucks? You're talking about Doc Rivers won a game? He's 1-3 as a coach of the Bucks so far? Yeah. It was funny listening to Alvin and Matt talk about that situation for a second in the game. Saying, yeah, how I feel about that. It's like, this is silly in some ways. They probably feel a lot of the same way that we do about the Doc Rivers, Adrian Griffin situation. Mugabe's saying, Darko's not a good coach. I thought we had this win in the bag. You can't say that, man. You can't say that. Listen, everybody making snap judgments about whether we win or lost, just get over yourself. It's not about winning or losing right now. It's about moving in the right direction as a team, development-wise. And in some ways, us losing right now is in our favor. Seriously. So let's just game this to win no matter what. If we didn't win, so what? We're going to keep our pick. In some ways, that's part of what we're doing also. Who knows? Maybe on purpose. Scotty was like, you know what? I know on the down low, Masai doesn't want to win right now because he wants to keep the pick. And so I'm going to like hand it off to Gary and kind of fail a little bit. In some ways, it's not that they're trying to lose. I don't know what they're trying to do. It's confusing. In some ways, it's annoying. But in some ways, well, they lose. Well, there are benefits to them losing right now. And yeah, don't stop making such judgments. Darko is not a good coach. That's bullshit. Mugabe, I'm getting real close to striking you, man. Giving you a strike and get you in trouble here. Tristan saying, I presume some of the rotations have to do with evaluating players for trade before the deadline. Hopefully this is the case, in my opinion. Think another big body would be helpful. Moving Brown could get Nwara more minutes. Yeah. I mean, that would probably be true. Is like, Brown's kind of a pseudo starter, like first bench guy at this point. I don't think that the rotations have to do with evaluating players for trade. I don't know. In some ways, I think we're just playing who we're playing because Darko may be playing the guys who he's going forward with. Honestly, that's part of why I take Chris isn't playing. Is that in some ways he's not part of the future. So in some ways he's not playing because he really isn't part of our future. Is the way I take it. Let's see. David's saying Darko's a very good coach. You people just don't get it. That's all. Yeah, I'm gonna give David a strike. A dunk for that statement because I agree with him. He's a very good coach, and y'all need to stop being so fickle and changing your opinion on him depending on whether we win or lose. There's a lot of good things happening. Just trust me. And he's going to be really good more and more as time. And y'all are going to be like, why did I not trust Darko and Lex when he said that at that time? Seriously, give this guy more of a chance. Let's see. Darko's also saying good game for Scotty again. I like this new level of maturity. Yeah, I like that too. That's a good comment right there. Fun guy saying, I agree, Mugabe. Man, I wish Nurse wasn't pushed away. If only he didn't get so arrogant. Nurse was amazing. Fuck Nurse. He did that himself. He wasn't pushed away. He pushed himself away. Rich Paul pushed him away. You want to blame anybody for what happened with Nick Nurse, blame Rich Paul, blame Daryl Morey, blame Nick Nurse himself. It's not anything to do with our team. It's not anything to do with our players. Nothing to do with our front office. Nothing to do with our fans. It had to do with Rich Paul, Daryl Morey, and Nick Nurse having a devious scheme to fuck up his career in the Raptors so he can go and coach for Daryl Morey in Philadelphia. There was tampering. Rich Paul organized this whole fucking thing behind the scenes. He told Nick exactly how to do it because Nick's not an underhanded person most of the time, but he needed to be underhanded with this shit, and he shaved wins. In fact, I feel like last night was kind of a shaved win because Masai and Bobby are like, we want to keep our pick, Darko. And in some ways, you played really good. You were competitive. We got good development, good learning stuff. But y'all didn't win. Hey, that's winning for us because we want to keep our pick. Good job, coach. Good job. In some ways, last year, Nick lost games that he shouldn't have lost. In some ways, I would say Nick, in his 5th year as a coach last year, shouldn't have been losing some of the games that he lost, and that was bad. Darko's in his 1st year. He's a rookie head coach in the NBA. In some ways, there's a learning curve with that and allowances. Now, Nick, in his 1st year, he won a championship, and he had all kinds of good things go for him. In some ways, Darko's had the opposite for him. Everything's upside down and completely the opposite. Now, Nick Nurse making those kind of coaching mistakes, like the Atlanta game that we lost last year with AJ Griffin, that's a fail because he had the experience. He was developed as a coach. He had already been coaching for 5 years. And that's more of a fail to me in some ways. I'm just saying, you can talk about Nick Nurse. He was amazing. He's a very good coach. He's a very, very good coach. But he fucking sabotaged his career here himself. And it's not us. We didn't push him away. He pushed himself away. And it was very calculated. Cowboy saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Dap to Bradley. Fiercely saying, yes, at Seymour. I like that list. Let's add the Sixers. Too bad we're done with the Celtics. Yeah. And we're going to get some get back against some teams, more so in the future when we just beat everybody's ass when we're so good and we're successful again. We'll get back to that point again. When DeMar and Kyle built that house, we got to do it again, this time with Scotty and RJ. They're going to build the house next. Carlos saying, one thing to remember, too, SGA is doing this on his 6th year, and Scotty is on year 3. Yeah. Well, Scotty's on his 4th year right now, right? Isn't this his 4th year? I'm not even totally sure. This is his 4th year, right? He's played 3 years before this. Either way. Carlos saying, no, I wouldn't say Nurse would do better with this situation. Darko. Darko's system has a higher ceiling than Nurse's. I don't know. We can't woulda, coulda, shoulda this or that. Nick could have easily lost this game last night too as the coach. I don't know. There's no point in doing that kind of stuff. In some ways, once again, we can't be like, I wish Nick was still our coach. This is just not that way, and it can't be that way. In some ways, Sixers fans enjoy hearing that, and we don't want to give him that, fun guy. So we don't give a shit. Fuck Nick Nurse. He's the enemy, and he's been losing a lot lately, and I like that. I like that. Mugarbe saying, Lex, Scotty is a number 4 pick in the fact of the franchise, in the face of the franchise. Stop making excuses. What do you mean? What excuse am I making? What do you mean? I know he's the number 4 pick and he's the face of the franchise. What excuse am I making? I said I want him to step up and take the shot and make it. Yeah, I put something on him already. I'm not making excuses for Scott. The opportunity for him to do it is there. Now, am I trying to figure out why he didn't do it? Yeah, because it looked like he was tired, because he was guarding the best player on the Oklahoma City Thunder the whole night. So, I mean, look, you can say I'm making excuses, but I'm a positive Raptors fan, and I'm on for the team. I'm trying to make good things for them, and I may propagandize good propaganda for them. That's what I do, Mugarbe. That's what I do every morning. I make excuses for our team because I want our fan nation to stay on board and stay positive. In some ways, you're pissing me off today. You're being very negative. There's a lot of y'all being negative today that's kind of pissing me off. I'm a little fired up because of it. Being anti-Dennis, anti-Darko, anti-this, anti-that. Nobody needs to be anti-anything. Be uncle. Be uncle. Not anti. Be uncle. I'm happy. My team. I'm proud. I'm going to see this team get better over time. Some of the people here are getting it. They're getting it. The future's bright. We got a lot of things to look forward to. Let's make the best of every situation. And some of y'all are just like, Darko's a horrible coach. Fire him. Scotty is not a franchise player. He's stunting his growth. He's not good enough. You know, I'm not hearing that. We're the positive Raptors fans, and we're believing in the best stuff happening for them in the future. And that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here, Mugarbe. I make excuses. Yeah, Scotty was tired because he had to chase SGA around. Darko's a new coach, and he's had his whole entire team changed halfway through the season. God forbid that he doesn't have his shit exactly right after a complete roster overhaul at New Year's. Come on now, y'all. Come on now. I'll make excuses. Oh, yeah. I'll make excuses. Well, you want to make more problems? You want me to make more issues? No. There's enough fucking idiots doing that around Raptors Nation. Carlos saying Darko's system has a higher ceiling than Nurse's. I agree. David's saying maybe if we do make a trade at the deadline, we can include Fun Guy and Mugarbe as a salary dump. Clean up these roster spots. David, normally I don't like people attacking him, but that's witty. And in some ways, I agree with that right now. Although Fun Guy's okay. He's okay. Mugarbe's pissing me off right now. There's other people that kind of piss me off more. Mugarbe is just being a little negative. That's all. And then the thing with Fun Guy's fine. Fun Guy was pretty more realistic, actually, in that moment. I know you guys have your own little thing. Cowboys got Darko and Scotty on blast. Carlos saying, Mugarbe, Scotty is a third-year player. Keep that in mind. Look up Kawhi, Giannis, and SGA, what they were doing in their third year. It is his third year, right? I keep forgetting. He only played 2 years before this? Yeah, I guess that's right. He's been playing as long as I've been doing this channel. I'm so stupid. I don't know why I was thinking Scotty's in his 4th year this year. No, he'll be in 4th year next year. Yeah, Carlo, thanks for getting me straight here. Fun Guy saying Darko's system is fine, yes, but it's all that surrounding elements of being a coach that makes him bad. Rotation, scheming, game planning, timeouts, etc. Worst I've ever seen here in Toronto from a coach. He's being sarcastic. He can't be right because the timeouts have been fantastic. There's a lot of things he's doing that are really good. Holy crap. I think you're being sarcastic. I can't tell. I would strike you if you are not being sarcastic. Bryce is saying, even though we lost, we had the second best team in the NBA down 20 at some point. We fought, and I'm proud. Scotty wasn't aggressive, and his body language was ugly, but he did a good job on SGA, in my opinion. There you go. Bryce is going to get a dunk. Bryce is right. Bryce Lawson is right. He's bringing like good vibes and ideas and statements from Kentucky. He is right. Carlos saying worse. Look at the Butch Carter era. With you talking about worse. Dumb as hell. David, you're a nobody. Be quiet. All right, y'all infighting. Fun Guy, if you're not being sarcastic, I'm going to be with David and Carlo. That you like, what the hell are you saying? Troy Henry saying, why didn't they call timeout on that 10-second remaining rebound? Shaking my head. I'm not a not a basketball ball, and that's the first thing came to my head when I saw them getting the rebound. I'm not totally sure which point you're talking about, when, and also whether they had a timeout at that time. They ran out of timeouts because they had to call a timeout because there was that one play where he got pushed out of bounds, RJ, and they called him out of bounds. That kind of was a fucked up play. That was a weird play. I'm not sure where you're talking about, Troy, so I can't really give you opinion on it. David's saying all of Darko's timeouts last night were much needed, minus the one. Yeah, they had to take that one. Listen, he was upset at the end of the game because he did try to call a timeout and they ignored him. He said that in his press conference, Troy. That may be what you're talking about. He said, I called the timeout, but they didn't listen to me or allow me to do it, the referees. So there was a point in the game at some point near the end where Darko was calling for timeout. I think it would have been that RJ play where he was on the ground. He wanted a timeout then to keep the ball in possession for us, but then they said out of bounds on us and gave the ball to the Thunder. I think that's the play where he tried to call out a timeout, and they didn't give it to him. They didn't listen to him. They were saying on the broadcast that Jakob tried to call the timeout at that point. Carlos saying the fact that this young team bounced back after a shellacking in Houston is a testament how resilient Darko made this team. I like that. That's a good statement. That makes sense. Fun guy saying Darko's had his good moments for sure. There you go. You're coming around, fun guy. Mo's saying 3 stars of the game for her, RJ, Yak, and Scotty. Same as me, but definitely need to work on his anger issues. Bonus, if I had one Dennis, great fight, though. All right. I'm trying to figure this out, but definitely needs to work on his anger issues. You talking about Scotty? His anger issues? I don't know where he was angry. I don't feel like he was holding his head. He's been very professional lately, honestly. I've been very proud of him. He's getting better and better about the things with the refs. He could be more in his head and messing up defensive assignments. He's doing better in that now, though. You think that Dennis had good fight in the game last night? I do too. I saw him busting his ass and sweating like crazy. Cowboys asking Fiercey how the tournament was for her daughter. I guess there was a basketball tournament this weekend. I wonder what she'll say. Mugabe's saying, I don't care if it is his 3rd year. He's not ready. He needs at least one more season with Pascal. That's all I'm saying. Well, that would have been ideal. I don't disagree with that. I would have loved to have had Pascal next to him forever. That would have been great, but it can't be that way. So in some ways, it's RJ now. RJ's got to be that spot instead. And in some ways, he's a little bit ahead of Scotty, and he can be this kind of influence on him. There's still other players around like Jakob and other people that can help Scott with this. In some ways, Scotty is not going to be the number one guy, and you think he still needs somebody else around him. Well, RJ's that guy. Emmanuel's that guy. And that's what it's going to be, Mugabe. This comment, a little bit better than the other ones. I can get behind this. And I agree. He could have had more time with Pascal. It would have been beneficial for him, for sure. You're right. Wayne saying, Nurse, we lost the game to Atlanta with 0.04 seconds left with Nick Nurse, Van Vliet, OG, Pascal, and Scotty on the floor. Guys played well enough to win, of course, but that's where we are now. Yeah, Wayne's saying, look at that team that we had, and we lost in the last second to Atlanta, and then we lost to Atlanta again this time. It was Jordan Wara not boxing out Sadiq Bey. That's the issue there. Fun guy saying, y'all driving Lex crazy. In some ways, you are today. It is what it is. In some ways, I love y'all. And if I'm going to argue and fight with anybody, I'd love it to be y'all instead of the really negative, crazy ass trolls in comment sections and other places. In some ways, I just want to, keep things together and keep things positive. In some ways, I want to fight for the honor of Darko and Dennis and Scotty. Yeah, I will. I'll continue to do that. Bryce is crying. Y'all are comedy today. There you go. You get me fired up and I go crazy. There's some fun to it. And seriously, don't take anything personally. Mugabe, I love you, man. I may be a little bit anti what you're saying right now, but honestly, I love you as a person. You're an amazing person, and I value you in many, many, many ways. All right, just so you know. Chris is saying, Mugabe, Chet is in his 1st year and is up to hit key shots. Was Chet tired fighting Yak all night? The thing is, Barnes didn't start playing basketball a few years ago. It's a mental thing. I don't want to overanalyze this. I think that y'all can see on the game Scotty was tired. You could see him playing very high-level defense on SGA. I mean, we can figure out what happened here. You can say this about Chet. But honestly, in some ways, Chet is not a rookie. Chet is a second-year player. He got a lot of schooling last year, and in some ways, it's different. Guarding Jakob is not the same as guarding SGA. Come on now. Chris, you can't compare that. What are you talking about? Guarding Jakob? This is maybe the slowest man on the court compared to the fastest man on the court. Come on now. Let's be realistic here. Fiercely saying Cowboy got the 4th rank. Okay, that's pretty good. The girls are starting to be demotivated as they keep being matched against older categories. The boss says it's to push them, so we'll see. Thank you for asking. So they're in tough situations against tough competition against older kids, and they're not adding up to success. But in the long run, this will make them better. Sounds like a situation with us. Sounds like a Raptors situation a little bit. Fiercely saying that's why I'm not angry at the ROs. I don't know what that word is. I know it's not as easy as it seems, and we may react differently in certain plays. I believe in Scotty. He's accomplished a lot for a 3rd year. Yeah, he's made a huge leap. In some ways, he's not going to be exactly perfect. There's still the lumps and things he's got to work out to get to even more leaps and better stuff. The thing is, he's a work in progress, and we already see a huge level of play he's at already. Just imagine how much he can even get even more refined and better. It's so positive. It's so bright, y'all. Seriously, if you listen to what I just said, he's going to get better and better. He really is. And he could have even, like they say, he could be the most improved player this year. Well, he could have another leap next year that's just isn't crazy up to another whole level. And he could be in the running for most improved again next year. Watch. I'm serious. He's that kind of player. It's crazy. Cowboys saying, that's cool. Okay. And Cowboys saying, what's up, Jill and Dana? Good morning. Fiercely saying, now that you mentioned OKC was better at gathering at halftime, it's a reminder they've been working and losing together for quite some time. Even Chet, who was out last year, got to spend time with them. Yeah, he was very much involved in learning the whole time. That's why I say he's not really like a rookie, because he learned a lot last year, even when he was hurt. And he was just around the team, traveling and listening and seeing the ups and downs. And Fiercely's exactly right. This may be the comment of the day. It's a reminder that they've been working and losing together for quite some time. We just reset things. So we have to learn and lose together for a bit of a time before we get our shit exactly straight. Blackhawk saying, wise words, Lex. Ignore the anti-Scotties. For sure. For sure. I don't understand this. Scotty had such a fan club last year. And I hope that none of these people that were in the fan club last year are turning and stabbing in the back at this point, you fuckers. You were so pro Scotty and anti-Fred, and now you're going to turn on Scott too? You're not Raptor fans, is what I'll say to you people. Bryce is saying Scotty has improved in quite literally every aspect of his game this year. The ones who aren't satisfied because of wins are goofy goobers. Goofy goobers. Yes, that's a 3-pointer, honestly. I just love that. That's so funny. Goofy goobers. Bryce, you just got a 3-pointer, man. You got 5 dunks now. You had 1 this morning. Now you got 5. Carlos saying, I'm just happy that they had that kind of fight last night after the shellacking from Houston. For sure. For sure. A much better output and effort last night. They were really good in the first half. They were amazing in the first half. We had so much fun watching that first half of that game last night. One guy's saying RJ and Quickly are great, but I hope we can throw our picks and stuff and get him a number 2 or close enough. It will go a long way for the team and Scotty. Well, why isn't RJ a number 2? Seriously. Why isn't RJ? Why couldn't Emmanuel be the number 2 scorer on this team? I don't know. In some ways, I get what you're saying. I do want more talent on our team. I want more size, and we will make those adjustments. Dana's saying, good morning, Cowboy. Blackhawk saying, team sports, a.k.a. all wins and losses are on the team. That means from coaches to players, not one specific player. Booyah kasha. There you go. I'll take that from Blackhawk, and I'll give that a dunk, because that's words of wisdom and truth. We can't just pinpoint one person and blame them. There's a lot of different people that could have done different things better, and it could have helped us. David's saying, hey, fun guy, what's the square root of 9? Laugh out loud. Hey, seriously, David, I don't give you a strike for picking on one person. Blackhawk's saying, damn, we busting out the math now. Well, we all know what the square root of 9 is. It's 3. It's 3. A fun guy saying trade deadline is harsh, but luckily these guys make millions and can spend it wherever they end up. Laughing my ass off. Normal peasants worrying about millionaires is insane. Yeah, I'm not worried about them. In some ways, I just want Chris on our team because he's Canadian, he's a champion, and I love Chris being on the Raptors in some ways. But yeah, it is true. Some people getting overly worried about the emotions and things like this. I get it. They're human beings though too. And even though they get paid so much, well, they have a very active lifestyle that is very public and a lot of scrutiny. There's like they get paid a lot of money, but they have to go through. It's not easy. It's not an easy lifestyle in some ways. Some ways it seems like it is, but in some ways it's not. There's a lot of hidden bullshit that NBA players have to deal with that everyday people don't. And that's just the damn truth. And that's part of the reason why they do get paid that much. That's right. That's right. David's, you're not going to do little tests. All right. If it's anything directed directly at Fun Guy, I'm glossing over it unless it's good for the stream. I don't think it is right now. All right. Yeah, that's no good. Fun Guy's saying they'll live well, trade or not, and so will their kids wherever they go. I know this is an interesting side part to this Tony Snell thing that happened. He did not get signed by a team. He did not get his pension. And some people are saying, well, it's because of his wife. His wife apparently has some sort of social media account where she buys extravagant stuff or something, or she sells a certain merchandise, and she's actually doing really well. And in some ways, it came in genuine about the whole plea for him to get the money, the pension of 10 years in the NBA from the NBA. Some people are saying, well, fuck, man, how much money has he made? And why can't he just use that money? Like everyday people have to do that. There's not a lot of sympathy for Tony Snell in some certain ways. And it's kind of getting back to this whole thing that Fun Guy's talking about right here. Trevor's saying this coming Thursday, this team can look a lot different when they come back home. Could be. I don't want them to look too much different. I think that a lot of the key guys are right. I think the starting five's right. I don't want to trade anybody from the starting five. We trade some of those bench guys. Hey, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Click is here. Good to see Click. Scotty fumbled last night. At the very least, be aggressive. I don't care if you can't score. Just be aggressive at the least. Yeah, I agree with that. It was very, very passive. I can get behind Click on his statement. Jill saying, no one has mentioned that Scotty played for 48 minutes. The refs missed Darko wanting a timeout when Scotty made that boob at the end of the first OT. Yeah, that's true, Jill, on both of those. Scotty played a lot of minutes last night, more than normal. And yeah, there was an overtime. There was a timeout that was called by Darko that was missed by the refs. Yeah. Fun Guy saying, oh, I didn't even notice that weirdo was talking to me. The answer is 3, Fun Guy. Just tell him 3 and he'll get off your back. I'll be your calculator. I've calculated the square root of 9 is 3, David Saborin. That's right. Blackhawk saying, Jill, Lex basically covered it by pointing out conditionally. Yeah. Yeah. And Jill saying, Jack Armstrong stated that Pascal unfortunately aged out. That's all. I don't know if that's an accurate statement. I think his age is fine. It's just that he priced out. I think the word is priced out. It's a little bit better. In some ways, it's for flexibility in the future, and it'll be a smart move in the end. Watch. It will be. Yeah. Yeah, David's saying, nah, but you can come to meet and greet so I can knock your teeth down. David, you may not want to write that check with Fun Guy. Seriously, that guy's like over 300 pounds, and he's like 6'7". We're tall dudes, but I've heard Fun Guy is a bigger dude. In some ways, you don't want to do that. Seriously, I won't let y'all fight. If y'all show up, y'all can have a mental competition, no physical competition. Y'all can maybe have a little debate or something. Maybe we'll have a little Fun Guy versus David debate, and y'all can have podiums, and I'll be the moderator, and I'll be like, okay, opening statement to Fun Guy, and then he can have this opening statement. Then if you really guys want to get something worked out here, we'll do it a civil way. We'll do it with a civilized debate. We won't have fisticuffs. We don't have acts of violence. There won't be no dueling pistols in the front parking lot of the Real Jerk, where you're taking 10 paces and turning around. No, there won't be any of that kind of shit. Y'all meet up. Seriously, David, you don't want to fuck with him. No, you don't. You're crazy. I remember what Fun Guy told me. He's like 300 pounds and he's like 6'8", bro. You don't want to fuck with him. Seriously, bro. Jill's saying Blackhawk peeps on here are still over Scotty. Yeah, the idiots. Flavor of the month. Stupid shit. Scott, don't listen to any of them. Just do what you're doing. Listen to Brian Macon. Listen to Darko. Listen to your inner circle. Fuck all these other people. You can listen to me if you want, but don't even listen to me. You probably don't even want to listen to me. You probably don't. But I'm just saying, Yeah, fuck everybody. Just do what you're doing. You're doing fine. Blackhawk saying Pascal far from aged out. That's a doorknob comment by Jack. Yeah, it is. It totally is. I'm with you, Blackhawk. Carlos saying if we can only get these rabid fan base into the arena, would be the most deadly arena in the league. What do you mean? These people are fakes. I'm telling you right now. There's a lot of confidence in anonymity and just typing on your keyboard. If you saw these motherfuckers in real life, you'd laugh at them. Oh, look at you. This is like a 6-year-old kid from Thornhill that's writing all this bullshit about Scotty online. Oh, who's this? It's some crazy old man who's in his 80s and he's just racist. And he just feels like writing a whole bunch of shit. He lives way out the fuck out in Sutton. What the fuck? That's what it could be. You don't know who these people are. You could see they could have all this venom. They could be all this uppity and crazy online. And then they come down the arena and they're like, ugh. And they're like, no, they're not going to help us with energy. They're just trolls. They're just miserable fucks who hide behind a keyboard and talk shit about NBA players and people because they feel like they have power when they're able to criticize millionaires that play basketball. That's part of it right there. It's like they're not going to help us at the arena because they're cowards that hide in the shadows. If they came down the arena, they wouldn't be loud. They'd be like, I'm serious. These people aren't the right people. Cowboys saying, I think we have 30 plus games left. Yeah, let's get them over with. Let's get to the summer, please. Let's get them done. David saying, good luck with the channel, Lex. Subs here have turned this place into dog shit. Take care, fam. Dave, I love you, man. And listen, you're good. You're good. Listen, the subs have turned this place into dog shit. What are you talking about? We're just working it out. We're a family. There's not going to be everybody agreeing on stuff. I think you're taking things too personally. You really are. You and Fun Guy really did need to make this personal in any kind of way. And David, honestly, I know you enjoy this channel. Don't let these people bug you. If you feel like they're assholes, come and cuss them out. I'll allow you. I don't care. I'll let you do it. You want to work something out. If you're so pissed and you're like, I don't want to be around the channel because these people are pissing me off. That doesn't make any sense to me. Don't be like that, David. Don't be a quitter. I need you here, my man. I need you here. Jill saying, and I don't think Scotty was fighting with the refs. All players state their cases. The media decides who attends news conferences. Perhaps we'll see Scotty today. That's not totally true, Jill. The media does not completely decide who attends the press conferences. They have a system for doing it. And it's kind of like this. They'll have like the top 3 players. The coach has to talk, obviously. Darko's going to talk every time. And then they look at the top 3 players for the game. They're kind of like my 3 stars. And they say, okay, Jakob was a top player. We'll get him. Jakob, would you like to do the interview tonight? They have the lady who comes in there. She has the short brunette hair. She's the one who's in charge. She's the one who says, hey, you're done. You come out now. That's enough questions. She's the one who dictates who goes. And she may come into the locker room and she say, well, all right, RJ, Jakob, you guys want to do it? Scotty, do you want to do it? And maybe Scotty saying, no, I don't want to do it. RJ said, yeah, I'll do it. Jakob says, yeah, I'll do it. And then they go do it. That's kind of how it works. There's options. Scotty could have done the interview last night. Scotty could have done a couple of interviews recently, but he's opting out. He is. I can tell. Because they want to interview Scott. I'm sure the media would say, we like Scotty. Well, it's not your choice, media. The lady, the brunette hair lady, will go ask Scotty. And if Scotty wants to do it, he'll come out. But if he doesn't, then you're going to get RJ. You're going to get Jakob. You're going to get Emmanuel. You're going to get other people, Grady, Thaddeus. We've seen all those people recently, but we haven't seen Scotty in those interviews. And partly, I'm glad. I'm very much glad because I don't want him to have to fucking talk to Michael Grange after these losses and hear his bullshit. In some ways, that's the kind of shit that can be demoralizing, is coming into the press conference after losses over and over again and Scotty having to make excuses to the the press corps and answer dumbass questions, pointed questions from them. In some ways, that's not a strength of his. He doesn't like dealing with the media. So if we're losing, he's a franchise face, and he's not in that room asking the stupid questions, answering the stupid questions. Now, I'm okay with it. He'll have that time where he has to go in there, and he will. It's just not right now. In some ways, if it's Jakob and RJ going in there and doing the after-game interviews, that's better. They have more time. They're more seasoned. They know how to handle the stupid questions better. In some ways, Scott may get flustered. In some ways, they may say something and it may piss him off. And in some ways, we don't want him getting pissed off because of the press. So fuck the press. They don't get a chance to talk to Scott because they don't deserve it, honestly. They really don't. Fun guy saying, "Aha! I cooked him. He can't even last the stream. Laugh my ass off. Go to sleep, guy." Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. David, man up. Don't be shying away from this. It's not that y'all are versus anyway. Y'all are cool. It's just let's not have all this friction. Seriously, you don't have to like each other. Just coexist. That's all I'm asking. Just coexist. Y'all have been here a long time and have coexisted for years already. Why is it all of a sudden just recently that it's become so Fun Guy and David? You guys were together for years. We've been around each other for like fucking 2 years now. And y'all never had a serious problem until just recently. So let's get over this shit. In some ways, David, you're attacking him personally. You're kind of egging it on. Fun Guy's not talking to you. You made him a target and you talked to him first today. And in some ways, he's being the bigger person. I don't want you to leave, David. I really don't. I know you enjoyed the stream. Fiercely saying, I like seeing Grady's parents arriving to the game wearing the Raptors jerseys. Proud moment for them watching him play. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see Grady's parents' enthusiasm. They're hilarious. They're kind of dorky. They're very dorky, but they're also fun and they're kind of goofy and fun to watch. And yeah, they're very enthusiastic. It's cool that they only got to drive. They got to drive like 3 hours from their house to get to that game last night. So it's kind of cool. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. All right, where am I? I jumped ahead. I want to make sure I find the right place. And yeah, I'm going to go a little longer just because it's a Lexathon. There's a reaction and 2 previews today. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. All right, let's see. No. All right, I see everybody. All right, kind of went off crazy a little bit. All right, hang on. Okay. All right. Yeah. No more comments. Definitely give me a cutoff because I'm going to go another hour. I know. I can tell. All right. Where am I? Let me see. I'm sorry. I lost my place. And I didn't realize I was so far away from the end. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Oh, I see Common Crazy is telling me it's no swearing. No swearing Mondays. What? Okay, Blackhawk saying, I know they're acting up, but time will have to heal them. I ain't no doctor. Okay. And Jillian saying, Gads, we are not dog shit. And a person can block someone if you don't care for them. Yeah, I don't like the fighting between them. KSM saying, it's hard for me to call blowout leads development. What's the difference between Detroit's way of development versus ours, Lex? This is a good question, KSM. I like this. It's hard for me to call blown leads development. Blown leads. Well, it is actually. You know what? There's different stages of franchises in the NBA. And I know from like watching the Raptors early franchise expansion days, watching the Orlando Magic early expansion days, that there's a learning curve. And part of it is first, you don't want to get blown out. You get blown out all the time. You can't even win games. You're losing by 30 or 20 every game. That's a very bad stage to be in. Well, you want to get closer. And the development is, okay, you're only losing by 10 now. That's a development. You're still losing, but you're not getting blown out every game by 20. But you're better enough that you can lose just by 10. Okay, you get a little bit better. Now you're only losing by 5, but they're still getting better. All right, now it's the games are close and you're competing and you actually have a chance to win, but you don't know exactly how to win. Well, you got to go through that little period of time where you're having close games like the game last night and you just don't know how to win yet. That is a very normal place for a franchise to be when they rebuild. They have to learn how to win again. And in some ways, like I said, we would have won with the game with Fred last night because he knows how to win. But this new crew of guys need to learn how to win again. And there's a development in learning how to win close games. So even if it's like, oh, they blew a lead and they should have won this game, well, that's a tough learning lesson. It's a growing pain. And that is part of a stage in a franchise of rebuilding is to learn how to win close games again. So we're at that point again. We were a little bit more ahead with Nick and the crew before because we knew how to win games that were close and we could execute and do it. Not sometimes we failed and didn't make it happen, but we were at least more knowledgeable of doing it. Now we got to learn it all over again. And as I've said, it's on Scott's schedule. Scotty has to be the one that learns this part of the development there. So does that make sense? It's like we've rebuilt and retooled all of a sudden, and our team is in a place where it has to learn how to win close games again. And that developing of learning how to win close games is part of development. And blowing a lead is just part of the naturalness of the failure of learning through it, is what it is. Common Crazy saying, no swearing Mondays. Common Crazy, I love you. I love you, Common Crazy. I want to see who is that? I'm like trying to look at your picture. It's weird. I keep thinking you're my uncle. Jill saying Bruce Brown is good looking and the media loves it. And Jill saying Lex talking fast today. Yeah, Bruce Brown's a farmer, a Hulk Hogan farmer is what I'm saying right now. It's pretty cool. Fun guy saying Aaron Wiggins. That's his name, Aaron Wiggins? Aaron Wiggins. Okay, it's not Andrew Wiggins. Bryce is saying, oh, trust me, Lex. I muted the chat almost instantly. Laugh out loud. It's so awesome to be in there with you guys. Y'all are some really good people who love the Raptors like me. There you go. Good, Bryce. Yeah, because it'll be like ding, ding, ding. You just got to mute those chat notifications because it will go off. Adriana does not mute the chat notifications. And I'm out around her and she's in that chat too. And it's like going off. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I just wrote something. I hear it go off on her phone. I was like, you don't mute the chat notifications from our Raptor Freak chat? She's like, no. I'm like, you don't hear that all the time? Like ding, 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 ding. Because it would drive me nuts. I have to myself. Because it would be like making my devices go crazy. But meanwhile, Adriana's got it off mute. It's just like making music during games, I'm sure. Jill saying good morning to Cowboy. And let's go Raptors. I like that. She's saying Scotty has a Kawhi trajectory, and Kawhi was on a stacked team, which allowed him to develop his offensive bag without the pressure. Scotty came in defense and passed first and thrown into the fire. I feel like Scotty's gotten a good team around him for the first couple of years of his career. He had Fred, he had Pascal, he had OG. He had these really good top-notch players around him, and he still has some of those kind of guys around him, like RJ, Dennis, and people like that. So in some ways, it's true. Kawhi Leonard wasn't just like really good right away. He had some trouble early in his career. He was more defensive oriented and not as good offensively. And he became more and more better as an offensive player. They won that championship early in his career more because of the other guys. Now, Kawhi was the MVP, but it really is partly because of Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan that they got that championship so early in Kawhi's career. So in some ways, it's hard to compare, but the career paths as them as players individually, regardless of their outside stimuli, is very similar. I'm going to say that right now. That there's going to be jumps and leaps with Scotty that are similar to Kawhi in the next couple of years, where he just becomes more and more like Kawhi. Watch. Jill's saying, I love that Alvin did a prayer on in reference to Scotty. I love it. Grady's folks drove 2 hours, so close. Yeah, 3. I think it was 3 or 4 hours, but still doesn't matter. Yeah, Alvin's been awesome lately. He's really on fire in the broadcast booth right now. G saying fans need patience and need to stop turning on our players. G, you're going to get a dunk for just speaking the truth. You're exactly right. That's what Masai told y'all. Y'all need to be patient. There's going to be games that are going to be bad, and y'all just need to get with the program and be okay with it for a little bit. Cowboy saying, and our coach. Okay, yeah, he's saying, what's up? Mugabe's saying, Chris, keep finding excuses for Scotty. I am. I'm going to keep finding them too. We're going to keep finding excuses for our franchise player that we love, and we want to give him tough love and happy love and positive love because we know he's going to get better. And I'll make excuses till I'm blue in the face for my man, Scotty Wayne Barnes. He's my guy. Scotty, I'll make all the excuses in the world for you, my man. Okay, shake your head. Yeah. There you go. Scotty Barnes, bobblehead. There you go. Let's see. Fun guy saying, Pelicans have usually been a kryptonite team for us, but since our team is so different, tonight could be a surprise. Perhaps a win, guys. Fuck. I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, that's true. The last time we went to New Orleans, we got our ass beat, and it was Zion. Zion Williamson was amazing. He showed some crazy athleticism, and they blew us out embarrassingly last year when Nick Nurse went there for the last time with the Raptors. Yeah, in some ways, this could be true. I'm thinking that Fun Guy's onto something. We could have a different makeup to our team this time, and that could be very, very, very exciting and interesting. So I'm going to predict this. Who knows? I'd love to see a great game tonight. I love the Jonas versus Jakob match. That's fun. That's fun. Hey, maybe Scotty's pissed because of last night, and he has a different kind of aggressiveness that he shows tonight. Who knows? We got to give him a chance to try and get better and show development. Jill saying, yes, G, Scotty has so much pressure on him. Still hoping Lex gets to the Pelicans today. Yeah, I did the intro earlier. I did the preview for the Pelicans game already. I'll do it a recap at the end. Jill saying Raptors often do better in the second day of a back-to-back. That's true. It's been weird. This year has been weird that way. They have been better on the second night of back-to-back. Jill's exactly right. Mugarbe saying, I'm just pissed we did not win. We had it. I'm with you, Mugarbe. I know your heart is in the right place. I know you want to blame somebody. I know you want to play the blame game, but there's no reason to. We're a family. We win and lose together, and we just go through it. That's the best attitude Raptors fans could have. Stop playing the blame game. We only get better from being supportive and working together and being on the same page and staying together. When fans are all crazy, they can be a part of like the problems and the toxicness because they're just, and all this kind of stuff. Why y'all chicken little it? Why y'all freaking out over one fucking game in which we played one of the top teams of the West to a double overtime? Sure, we coughed up a 20-point lead. Sure, we should have won. But in some ways also, Mugarbe, we lost, and that helps us in the draft this year. And that some ways is good too. Chris is saying, I'm not doing that at all. I have no idea where you got that idea. You're making excuses for Scott? Well, I am. I'm doing it. He can accuse me of that. Jimmy's saying Dennis was a minus 22 going into overtime. He was not the winning move. Well, he's the steady veteran know-how move in high-pressure situations because of his background and his body of work over 10 years of the NBA, that he's a little bit more ready to be in those high-pressure situations and do stuff to help us than, say, a Grady would. Let's just say that. Grady doesn't have any experience. He's a rookie. He's played, 20 games or something this year? That's it. So it's like in some ways you can't compare a guy who's got 10,000 career NBA points to somebody who's just in his rookie year as far as a high pressure overtime game against. I don't give a shit about the plus minus stat or anything in this situation. I give a shit about the aptitude and knowing what to do in this situation because you're a veteran and you know. That's what's more important in this situation, to me at least. Jill's saying we all are peeved about the loss, but not as peeved as the players are. They are so upset. Just go to overtime. Yeah, the players don't like losing. Honestly, y'all can be upset. What's the point? Seriously, you don't have control over this. They have the control. They can be more pissed about it, and that matters more than us. We can just be like, well, they didn't win, and let's live our lives. Why are y'all living and dying with your emotions, whether they win or not? Let them be who they are and disconnect yourself emotionally from them at this point. You just have to. Seriously, we'll get more connected later on and like when we have better chances to win and feel more of it. But in some ways right now, y'all need to be stone cold and just be like, I don't give a shit. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. It's life. It's the NBA. This franchise is in a reboot. And it's just how it is. Yeah. Let's see. Carlos saying fan base has to relax. This is one regular season game on a reset year and against the number 2 team in the West. The fact that we fought to the end should be celebrated after that game in Houston. Yeah. In some ways, it's perfect. We played an excellent effort. We played at a high level. We had a lot of good stuff happening. We just failed and lost. And well, that helps us in some ways too. Cowboys saying, I thought it was a good fight by the Raptors. I agree. Jimmy saying Yak was 8 for 9, but take him out. Yeah, because he's slow, because there's hack-a-yak, because in some ways he's not the right person when we need to make points when we're down in the second overtime. We need 3-point shooters out there. So you put Emmanuel, Gary, Dennis, RJ, and Scotty out there. Yeah, that makes sense. They made defensive and offensive substitutions in the end of the game, depending on whether they need a rebound and a defensive presence like Jakob, or they needed more 3-point shooting. And that's normal. NBA teams do this. The offensive, defensive sub, rebounding, okay, shooting, rebounding, shooting. And that's what they did. So that's the whole reason why they did that with Yak. 10:30 cutoff. It's noon already. Wow. Carlos saying Yak needed to rest, Jimmy. He's coming off an injury too. Those are good points by Carlo. Jill's saying 10:30, drink water. Yeah, this is good. Remember, peeps, OKC used to be a terrible team. Carlos saying facts, Jill. OKC is a good example. Chris is saying, I'm a fun guy. I think the Pels will win, as you're right. We don't seem to match up well with them. That's not the right attitude, Chris. One of those teams, as I remember, their bench always kills us, but who knows? Maybe we steal one. We're a different team. That may be the team with Coach Nick Nurse and the team we had last year, but this year could be different. Jill's saying, yes, Carlo, double overtime is something to brag about, peeps. It's a lot of time on the court. Carlos saying, yeah, facts. If you think about how we played Houston, this was a great bounce back, which is a good sign. It's true. We had no defense, Jakob himself said after the game, he was closing out space in the paint way better than he did in his first game back against the Rockets. And that's a really good improvement. Once again, I said after the Rockets game, well, let's see how we adjust and go and play the Thunder next. And there was. And that shows a good sign of the coach changing and adjusting things, and they're getting a better output and a job by them on the court yesterday. That's exactly right. Cowboys saying, yep, let's go. Raptors, great fight. Pelicans tonight. Those are flamingos. Those are flamingos. But they're Pelicans today. Chris is saying, for the record, Scotty does have the skill and is good enough to lead this team, but the mental has to drop into place. Trial by fire, sink or swim. He's going to get there. I agree. I believe in him. I know his mentality from watching him on Twitch. He's going to get this figured out. He wants to. He knows he's going to figure it out. Watch. He will. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Great game last night. Team Canada looks good for Summer Olympics. Yeah, Lou Dort, SGA, RJ. Yeah, it was fun. It was a very international game. Josh Giddey, Dennis Schroeder, lots of FIBA All-Stars from the tournament last year in the game last night. Different countries represented. All kinds of different countries represented. Germany, Canada, Australia, USA, all represented in the game last night. Very cool. Randolph saying, good morning, beloved Raptors freaks. Most informative gang. Blessings, blessings, blessings. It is a beautiful day today. Like flowers in a garden. Put your beauty on display, displaying your best qualities. There you go, Randolph Phillips. I love that. Those words of wisdom and just blessings are awesome. And I'm going to give you a dunk for it. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Put your best on display, y'all. Let's not be so negative. Jill saying, Randolph, you sound amazing. He is probably really amazing. It'd be cool to meet Randolph in real life. That'd be very cool. Cool Cat saying, Raptors able to go 2 overtimes with top-tier team in the West. Proud of the fight. There you go. Cool Cat, another positive Raptor freak. Fun guy saying, David Saborin, please come back. I miss you. This is not the same channel without you. See how the channel already failed as soon as you left? Please, we need you, man. Come back and save us and don't leave. I'm with Fun Guy, and we're not being sarcastic. Seriously, I think he's being serious. I'm the same way. He doesn't want you to leave just as much as I don't want you to leave. I don't want either of y'all to leave. Fun Guy left for a little while. I remember there was a little bit of time that he left. We weren't seeing eye to eye, but he came back. David will come back too. In some ways, it's just his threshold for patience is not very good right now. In some ways, David was texting me late in the game. He said, we got to win this one. He was texting me on the phone last night. He's like, we got to win this one, Lex. And then we didn't. So he's pissed. He's very competitive. In some ways, his emotions and the way he's interacting with Fun Guy is informed because we lost the double overtime and he cannot. He's so competitive. He's pissed about that. I know that's part of the energy right there. In some ways, he's taking it out on Fun Guy because he's mad that they lost last night. I know, David. I'm with you. Jimmy saying Yacht got rest. He subbed out 2.5 left in the second overtime. We called a timeout with 1 minute and didn't sub him back in. That was Darko's choice. I tried to explain it to you, Jimmy. It's substitutions. It's a chess game at the end of the game for defensive and offensive reasons. Sometimes it's for rebounds. Sometimes it's for more three-point shots. And listen, Jakob, we know when last year with Nick, he took him out. He never played him in crunch time. He always played Gary instead off the bench in his place at the end of the game because he knew Jakob's a liability at the end of the game. It's just true. In some ways, you can't make an argument that Darko failed because he didn't play Jakob at the end of the game. He played Jakob a lot at the end of the game last night, a lot more than normal, and in some ways, dangerously a lot to me. In some ways, I was like, wow, Darko's playing Jakob a lot late, is what I was telling myself. And I said, well, he's doing well. It's fine. But we do need to be careful about Hack-a-Yak, and we do need to be careful about a couple other things with him. Some ways, he's not a good late game player. So you can't criticize him for this. You can't. You really can't. Because listen, you're going to say that Nick Nurse was wrong for never playing Jakob at the end of games last year because he never did. When he had him for the half of the season last year, he never did. You can go pay attention to those games. Jakob was never playing at the end of games. Jill saying, you're okay, Cowboy. And Jill saying, Jimmy, Darko said the refs missed that he wanted a timeout. He said that. Yeah. He said that afterwards. Carlos saying, how much time did Yak play overall, Jimmy? Think about it. Yeah, that's the other factor. That Carlos right. He played 33 minutes. He's ramping up and getting his exercise back. He's not fully conditioned. He said it after the game. He said, I'm not totally back conditioning wise right now. And in some ways, they've got me on a minutes watch just to be careful. So that's part of it also. Chris is saying at Jill, I believe Darko as it was a typical moment to call the timeout. Yeah, he wanted to call it. They ignored him. Bryce is saying, this is why we stay away from the clickbait, ignorant Raptor fan accounts. Their opinions are delusional and selfish. I've learned so much from Chev and Lex on how to be a fan and not them. This is good. If there's anything I'm doing, I'm being a good role model for young fans like Bryce and other people on how to be a supportive, positive fan and not one of these toxic, crazy, overly critical, crazy fans. If you love your team and you want to see them win, why do you want to add to the noise that doesn't help them, is what I tell people. And Bryce, I appreciate that, man. If Chev and I have been a good influence on you, then we've done something good with our lives. That's right. Carlos saying so much bitching about last night. It was a good game overall. I'm with you. And alley-oop to Carlo JS from Cowboy on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. In some ways, I was like going to be critical about where we could have possibly won. But otherwise, I'm just going to say, look, they did a good job, and I'm proud of them also. I'll point out where they could have won. I'll point out how it could have been a little different. But I'm not going to harp on it. And I'm not going to say Scotty is a horrible person just because he didn't take the opportunity to win it at the end of the first overtime. It's just that the growing pains, as they said. Bryce is saying it was a really good game. Even my girl was intrigued. There you go. Bryce was enjoying it. His girlfriend's not that into basketball. And then all of a sudden she saw it and she's like, wow, this is kind of interesting. This is a very intense game. Double overtime. There you go. Yeah, she doesn't even watch basketball that much. Bryce is saying that. She lives in Kentucky and she doesn't watch basketball. What the hell? she needs to move to another state. Carlos saying, and when you, no, but I want her to stay with you and you guys stay together. Carlos saying, and when you consider how bad the team played in Houston, this isn't a normal rebuilding team then. That's true too. Carlo's exactly right. Carlo is exactly right. Jillian saying, yes, the Raptors did well overall and got to a double overtime. So proud. There you go. Jill's being a positive fan. I love it. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I salute you for standing up for Dennis. He has NBA experience and is a FIBA MVP. That counts for youngins. Yeah, that should matter. That should matter. There's a lot about Dennis that people are overlooking, that people are not saying that, wow, he does this for our team, and this is so good. In some ways, he's helped us not miss Fred as much. In some ways, he's not totally a complete replacement for Fred, but there's some Fred things that he is taking care of right now that if we didn't have, it may not be the same thing that what Carlo's saying as far as like where we are with our rebuild. It's like when you consider how bad this team played in Houston, and then we played this way, this is what he's saying. We have an experience and veteranness in there too that is a part of the development that will help us speed it up. Carlos saying, so if you have to guess, the thing we are missing is consistency, like how all young teams are. Exactly. Consistency is going to be part of the things that we got to really accomplish and get better at. G saying, part of rebuilding and retooling is learning how to close out and build good habits. This takes experience, time, and determination. That's it right there. Jill saying everything's going to be fine. I appreciate that, Jill. Thanks for telling me everything's going to be okay. Jimmy saying, FYI, Dennis did jack in both overtimes. He got 1 assist. That's it. Worst plus minus. Keep the same energy, Lex. You get pissed at other players, but put Dennis on a pedestal. He makes mistakes too. I'm not saying he doesn't make mistakes too, but he's doing a lot of good stuff out there. I know that you're all right. We're going to take the example of Gary Trent and Dennis. Because, I've been critical of Gary, but not as much as Dennis. And maybe that's part of why you're like, you're a hypocrite, Lex. It's like you go after Gary all the time like this, but you don't go after Dennis like this. Well, in some ways, their roles are different. And what they're trying to do out there is completely different. Dennis has a role that he's filling in a lot of ways, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether he's making shots or not. It's about leadership. It's about organizing the team. It's about pace. It's about defensive on-ball point of attack defense. It's about staying connected to other guys and communicating. It's about, like, I love how much our team talks on the court now. There were a lot of years where the Raptors would not talk on the court, like come together and like get on the same page and adjust and talking to each other. There's way more of that going on right now. And that is partly because of Dennis. Dennis is out there and Scotty's coming next to him, RJ, and they're all talking for a second. Did we do shit like that before? Do you remember Fred and all them doing all that kind of stuff a lot? No, we didn't do that as much as we do that right now. So that's part of the influence of Dennis also. There's intangibles, Jimmy. There's things he's doing on the down low. It's not on the stat sheet that you need to pay attention more to. Alvin Williams will say it. It's like, man, Dennis is doing so many good things for this team that you will not see on the stat sheet. And that's what I'm asking you to go look at. You can look at the stats and break it down and try and look at it this way. This is like the argument that Greg and I had yesterday. Well, I was at the game and I saw Justice Winslow play well. And you're saying, oh, only from the box score and what you saw. Well, I'm sorry, but that doesn't tell the whole story. I wasn't there in person. And there were things that Justice was doing that were really good for the team, even though his box score was shitty. So there's a little bit of that. Now, when I'm critical of Gary for not making shots, that's his job. If I'm critical with Dennis, it's usually because he's not making assists or getting guys involved. That's the thing that is important for him. That is the thing that's important for him. And, listen, you can think I'm giving preferential treatment. Well, once again, what do I do with the Raptors? I talk them up against all the negative people that are in detriment against them. There's an account against Dennis that's much more stronger than against Gary. And that's why I stand for Dennis harder, is because there's more negativity coming at Dennis than it is coming at Gary right now. And that's another reason why I stand for him. It's just like if people are going to downgrade and talk shit about the Raptors, I stand up against them and I put them on a higher pedestal in counterbalance to them downgrading them. So it's a similar thing with Dennis right now. Downgrading Dennis is in vogue with a lot of stupid Raptor fans right now. And in some ways, I'm trying to be the counterbalance. And I may be a little more heavy. And yeah, putting him on a pedestal, but that's partly because that needs to be the counterbalance for the over negativity towards him. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah. Carlos saying, Jimmy, this is way too much nitpicking on a good game. Yeah, I'm going to be with that. And Fun Guy saying everything's going to be all right. Bob Marley. He's got a Bob Marley biopic coming out. It's weird. I saw the commercials for it last night. And I'm like, this guy, I mean, I know he's very young looking. I know Bob Marley was very young when he did a lot of the stuff he does, but in some ways, he just doesn't have the gravity. In some ways, you can't make a biopic of Bob Marley because in some ways, he's larger than life. There's no man on this planet that can play his role. There's just an aura. There's a preceding thing about him. In some ways, it's like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Aslan, the lion. He has that kind of a power and an energy around him, like that lion in that C.S. Lewis book. You can't play Bob Marley in a movie. I'm sorry. That kid who's playing him, I feel bad. I'm like, look, you can't play him. There's nobody that can fill the shoes of Bob Marley and be who he was. The vibe, the feel, the look, the aura. There's no way you can replicate that in an actor. That's an impossible acting job. So the fact that they did a Bob Marley biopic is insane to me. I feel bad for that young guy. I may have to watch it and see if he did a good job. But in some ways, I'm like, how can you play Bob Marley? He's not even really in some ways I say he's not even a person. He's an idea. He's an institution. He's a way of life. He's a thing that is way bigger than one human individual person. And there's no way any actor is good enough to play Bob Marley. Holy crap. He's like a culture himself. To me, it's crazy. I see these commercials during as you said, everything's going to be all right. It made me think of this. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And sometimes I'm like, okay, he kind of looks like Bob Marley, but no, man, he just doesn't have that kind of like carry of the energy. Nobody can generate that as a person, as an actor. Nobody. Maybe The Rock has that kind of chemistry, but he doesn't look like Bob Marley. It's impossible. It's an impossible role to fill. I'll have to see if he does a good job. I don't know. I should give this kid a chance. But when I heard they made a Bob Marley biopic recently, I'm like, how do you do that? You can't. That man is just so in some ways to me, he's like a demigod. He's not even a real person. He's like a huge idea of a thing of what a life and human being and freedom and what he is and what he stands for is so much bigger than a human being. It's crazy. All right, little side jaunt there. I'm over 12 o'clock. It's a Lexathon. Who cares? Jill's saying it's 10:45. Well, it's now a quarter after 12. Fun guy saying, Lex, Chris trade's going to make you cry, too, because Boucher has a weird spot in our hearts. Different type of Pascal in our hearts. You know, in some ways, it probably is true. I really love Chris. I've hated that we haven't had Hustle Play podcasts this year. In some ways, I felt out of touch with Chris because I haven't been able to watch him and Mike Roach sit on a couch and talk things. Fuck you, Yahoo Sports, with your bullshit. And shutting down all that kind of stuff so we don't get the good content from Chris Boucher's Hustle Play podcast. That pisses me off. In some ways, I feel like that's a loss. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for me if Chris leaves. I mean, Pascal's been the hardest one out of the ones recently for sure. Now, I don't know how I'll feel about Chris. I'll have to see what happens if it does happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll be smiling after a trade deadline. I will. But it does feel like it is going to happen. Jimmy's saying it's just that he gets pissed at other players, but gives Dennis a break every time, even though he's doing the same thing that he's pissed about with the other players. Keep that same energy. I try to explain this, Jimmy. Do you understand? I'm counterbalancing the deficits of unnecessary over criticism towards people by guarding them and defending them. That's part of my job here. If people are going to go at Darko, I'm going to defend the hell out of him. There's no point in any Raptor fan going after a coach or a front office. It's not helpful. It's toxic. Now, players, some of them we can be nitpicky and critical, constructive criticism, but I feel like there's overly on Dennis. So I'm going to be that person that stands in between that and defends him. That's just the way I've always been. If I feel like there's a certain Raptor that's getting singled out unfairly, overly by Raptors Nation, this is what I do, Jimmy. And this year it's been Dennis. Last year was Fred. I stood with Fred against all the Fred haters through that whole year last year. You know, I had my constructive criticisms of Fred in certain ways, but overall, I was like, y'all are forgetting Fred is an important part of our team, somebody we love, and y'all are being way too shitty to him. And that's just part of it right there. You know, in some ways, like I said, the difference between Gary and Dennis is they have different jobs. Gary's job is to make open shots, and if he doesn't make them, I'll be critical. If Dennis is not getting people involved, connecting people, I'll be critical of him. But he's doing a good job of that. He's doing a good job of keeping people in communication and connecting people. And that's part of the difference. Fiercely saying, you're right. We're not aggressive. Only RJ and Dennis have the competitive edge. That's part of the problem. That was part of the problem with our team last year. And that's part of the thing that Patrick Beverley said. There's no dogs. There's nobody who's aggressive to try and go take it. In some ways, that is an indictment of Anunoby and Siakam. And in some ways, that really is. In some ways, we don't want Barnes to be like that either. He needs to be more like Barrett and Schroeder. We really do. We really, really do. Let's see. Jill's saying, Lex, we don't want you to have a heart attack. I don't think it's odd that freaks are emotional, so talkative about last night. Let's discuss. Pelicans, you keep putting flamingos. Those are flamingos. You know, this is what we do on this channel, Jill. We've been doing this a long time. And it's just normal. It's normal par for the course. And there's no problem with it. I should sit up more straight. My back's been bothering me. Chris is saying, best time of our lives. Go Raptors. Don't ever take the wins or losses personally. Peace and love. Most relaxed feeling. Embrace all players. Everyone have a wonderful day. I like that attitude by Chris. It sounds a little crazy. A little like, woo, like he's loopy on some sort of antidepressant or something. But I love it. So I'm going to give him a dunk. Because it's about right. It's about right. And that's the way we should be thinking. For sure. All right. There you go, Chris. You get 15 dunks now. All right. Let's see. Fun guy saying, geez, Lex, not even halfway in the chat to see those toxic David comments. Like, guy is so weird. Like he needs some pum-pum. Laugh my ass off. Yeah. Once again, he's got a girlfriend. That's not the problem. Yeah, I don't like that David's been attacking you personally. And in some ways, I'm on your side today, fun guy. I just wish David wouldn't be like so confrontational with you specifically and make it so one-on-one. It's not worth it. Honestly, it's not. Let's see. Dana's saying, having a great day, everyone. Let's go Raptors. Let's get this win tonight. I'm with it. Jill's saying, yes, Dana, let's get the win. I'm with that. Carlos saying, who's going to guard Zion? Zion's hurt. He may not be playing tonight. One guy saying, Lex, you're turning some people off with your defense of Dennis in such emotional fashion. I don't give a shit. I got to be me. I'm not going to like change who I am. If I turn people off, I turn people off. I don't care. My channel is what it is. It's always going to be this way. If I really cared about what everybody else thought, I would be such a weird channel. I'd be like most YouTube channels that try and do things for the algorithm. They try and do things to like be non-confrontational. Don't be controversial. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. Don't have any opinions because somebody might differ and then they'll hate you. And then they'll unsub and they won't want to talk. No, I'm ballsy. I don't give a shit. I'm going to fucking say everything I'm going to say. I'm going to be exactly who I am. If I turn people off because I defend Dennis, so be it. I did it because I did it with the right intentions to stand up for our German backup point guard, FIBA MVP. That's why I did it. That's right. No one is perfect. I know Dennis isn't perfect, but as I've said a couple times, I'm over counterbalancing
the negativity towards him with positivity for him. That's what I'm doing. Jill saying Jakob will guard Zion, I bet. Well, let me look at the injuries again and tell you if he's playing or not. I don't think Zion's playing today, guys. Carlos saying it's kind of stupid, though. If you don't play Dennis, who are you going to play then? It's a double overtime game. It's a waste. You got experience. You got a guy who's a very high-level player who's played in these kind of situations. It's a waste to not use him. It just doesn't make sense logically in some ways. Most saying, let's try and keep climbing tonight. Go Raptors. I'm with you. Carlos saying, you want Grady and Nwara to play double overtime and bitch some more after they screw up? Yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me in some ways. I don't know. Nwara, nobody said playing Nwara late, but let's see. Cowboy saying it's later, Canadian Cowboy. Have a wicked week, good people. Isaac saying we winning tonight. Cowboy saying it. Laugh out loud from Jimmy. Jill saying, Lex, I don't think we're always able to recall your opinions and or preferences. Please don't have a heart attack, please. What about you're entitled to your opinion again? Just cheers. Jill, you know what? That's part of the fun of this. In some ways, me getting worked up like that is some people enjoy that. That's part of the entertainment. Some people used to like to watch me get really mad at people and go off on them. So there's different people watching for different reasons. Some people don't like the conflict. Some people don't want to see me get upset, but some people really do because they enjoy seeing me kind of like go off. In some ways, I enjoy doing it. It lets off steam. So it's not something that I'm not trying to do. It's like I'm trying to avoid doing. No, I enjoy going off. I enjoy getting all worked up. There's nothing wrong with it. It's something like Chev. Chev might get very passionate in some of his pieces and get really like ramped up. And some people enjoy that about Chev and enjoy watching him be funny and go off. And because sometimes when I'm really worked up, I'll say really ludicrous, crazy, funny shit. And that's something that people will enjoy. Yeah. I listen, I'm not worried about any of this. If I lose subscribers, whatever. If I'm emotional and upset or overly doting on Dennis, whatever. That's my choice. It's a freedom. And just like you said, we can have different opinions and stuff, and that's fine. Yeah, we're all entitled to our opinions. In some ways, this is my channel. In some ways, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'll air what your opinions are. And if we don't agree, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not trying to win everybody over on everything. If I can be influential on certain things and make sense to some people, and they're like, well, you make sense on that, that's fine. If some people are like, well, most of what he says is stupid, but I enjoy watching him, that's fine too. I don't care. In some ways, I'm just doing my show. That's what it is. Jimmy saying, I just don't see how playing a 30-year-old point guard big time minutes and clutch time is good for player development. Aren't young players supposed to get those important minutes? You don't see this? I've tried to spell this out to you like on different times. In some ways, this is like not really, this is circles. We're running in circles here. You don't see how he's more capable and has more education on how to handle those situations in a winning fashion for success. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you then, Jimmy. You can't understand that. I think Carlo's right when he's saying, we're better off playing Dennis and Thad and Jakob people over Jordan and Grady right now, late game situations. Grady can get those late game situations on the 905 in a safer environment in some ways too. Joe's got my 11 o'clock cutoff. Those minutes are much needed in building their experience level. There are like 16 games below 500. Play the young guys. That's only in your opinion and your ideas. Darko knows best. He understands what he's doing with his team. So you just got to let him do what he's going to do. You're second guessing the coach is what you're doing. And in some ways, it's not necessary. It totally makes sense why you'd play Dennis over those guys. I get it. If you don't get it, then you just don't get it. And that's fine. I get it. Darko did what he did. And that's just what it is. Just saying, Carlo's right. If not Dennis, who? You want to play Grady at the end of the game? Maybe. But maybe last night wasn't the right night. Maybe by the end of the season, he's feeling more comfortable. Maybe Grady has more conditioning, more strength in him. He's like, okay, Grady, we're going to let you close the game tonight instead. You were shooting hot earlier. Grady didn't even make a three last night. Why would we keep him in the game at the end of the game to hit a big three if he hadn't even hit a three yet in the game? You're going to play Dennis, Emmanuel, and Gary because those guys hit threes. And they were involved in more stuff than Grady. I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't understand why you don't get this. I don't understand. Bryce is saying, Jimmy, Dennis is an optimal player for any team. Why give a young player minutes when he doesn't have the experience to win us games yet? He's a damn rookie. Yeah, we won't play young players until Dennis is gone, period. I don't think that's true. Bryce. And that will make Jimmy mad. because that'll just make him like, whoa, Dennis is going to be like that. We can't have Dennis on our team then. He'll be like, get him off this team. He's blocking everybody. No, he'll switch it over. It's just that Grady's not ready. If we're saying that Scotty's not ready to take over games and do stuff like that, well, what the fuck? You expect Grady to be ready to do this? He's just barely been ready to play in G League recently. You guys are expecting too much from Grady too fast. I think that's what it is. I think that's the biggest problem with what Jimmy's saying right now. He's expecting too much too fast from Grady at the point where he is in his development. In some ways, Darko understands his development and his benchmarks better than anybody because he's really on top of it every single day. He sees him in practice. We don't see him in practice. So in some ways, he has a more educated opinion about whether Grady is available or ready to do something late in the game, like a game last night. I trust my coach to understand that better because he's at practice. And he's the one who understands the development curve and where he sees these guys being at where they are and what they're doing. So I trust that. Yeah. Let's see. Bryce is also saying, I don't see the issue with having Dennis in to close the game. If we would have won, we wouldn't have said nothing about Dennis's minutes. Yeah, if we won, that may be true. That may be true. And Carlos agreeing. Jill's saying, is Kyle okay? Oh, yeah, he got traded. Cowboys saying, everyone keep your head up. We're going to be fine. I'm with that. Carlos saying, yeah, last night's game made me feel that way, Cowboy. Jill's saying, everything's going to be all right once again. I don't know how somebody can play Bob Marley as an actor. I really don't. Race was saying, is it February 9th yet? Almost. Lexathon might extend there, Edmund. Cowboys saying, we are in rebuild with a new coach with some players thinking there's going to be some traded. Let's grow Raptors. That's right. Cowboys got a realistic take on what's happening. Jill saying, yes. Isaac saying, we traded away core pieces for players that haven't yet been drafted because we were short of the bench depth required to win. Yeah, I think that's a very astute observation by Isaac Campbell and is exactly right. And part of the reason why we're where we are right now. And the Cowboys saying that's the trade deadline, right? Yep. Is the 9th. Isaac saying, so we are short even more players. Don't hate and blame the players on the court out of impatience. Just be happy the team attacks the rim and plays team ball despite lacking that depth. Man, Isaac's just on fire in his last two comments. I'm going to give him a dunk. I'm going to give Isaac Campbell a dunk right here. Where is he? There he is. There he is right there. All right, cool. Let's see. Carlos saying 3 more days till trade deadline. Let's go. Isaac, you're a different color. Cowboys saying, let's fucking go. Mugabe saying, you can go ahead and block me now. I'm not going to block you, man. I love you, Mugabe. You're awesome. You are awesome. I'm not going to come at you with hate, bro. I love you, man. You're just mad because you think our front office is cheap. It's the ownership that's cheap. One guy saying, what? No, block you for what? No, we love you, Mugabe. You're just in a bad place. You're just feeling negative mindset. We're trying to get you back and get you in a positive mindset. The future's bright. I wish we could keep Siakam too, man. I'm with you. But we couldn't. We got to move forward and we got to keep going. That's just like a zombie movie. I wish we could have saved Rick, but Rick got murdered by the zombies. We got to keep going. It's just how it is, Mugabe. We're in Walking Dead. Fun guy saying, you're not toxic. You're sharing your personal criticisms. Those blocked are usually random new people with 100% toxic comments with intent of blatant hate. Yeah, I'm not going to do that to you, Mugabe, man. I know your story. I know who you are. I know where you're coming from. Some of these random guys who come in here and just right off the bat, they're assholes. Yeah, I block them. But you're family already, man. We know you. And you can be critical. You can be how you're being. And I don't mind. In some ways, you're a very good voice for us to listen to because we need to understand the more negative perspective of things and to talk it out. In some ways, you're somebody who's been able to come around with us. You know, there may be times where I've been negative and you've said something positive and you've helped me and vice versa. And that's all we're trying to do here, man. You're not in trouble or anything. If I threaten you with a strike, it's just because I feel like you're being too toxic. But even if I struck you out, I wouldn't kick you out, man. I wouldn't block you, man. I wouldn't. Just saying, fun guy, can you and Dave please love each other? Yes, I'm with that. Cowboys saying, yes, please do. Jimmy's saying they are secret in love. We all know that. I don't like that. That's fun, weird. Cowboys saying alley-oop family feud. Okay. Fun guy saying, I just mind my own business and make comments for Lex. I'm my ass off. I don't even get moved by anyone or their comments. Laughing out loud. You know, Fun Guy and I got worked up at times during the Fred stuff last year, but in some ways we always came back together and was fine. Some cooling off periods. It's fine. That's part of it. Jill saying Dave sometimes gets angry. Maybe don't bother with him. Just go to the next person. I love David. David's an important person for this channel. Trust me, he's very important. He's the most supportive person of this channel. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, he matters to me a lot. And I interact with him outside the channel. So in some ways, listen, some days he's not going to want to be in here and listen to y'all. He has a very short patience. He's super competitive. And so in some ways, he wants to be very positive for this team. And I love that. I love that. In some ways, he may have been negative towards his team. And in some ways, he has a disdain and a very little patience for people being negative towards his team right now. So David's place in his heart is in the right place. It's just in some ways, there's just, he's fed up. And he wants people to be more positive. Is basically what his argument is. Chris is saying at Mugarby, there's no reason to block you. He's exactly right. Cowboy saying Scotty and RJ are like Batman and Robin. Each game will be different for who's Batman. I like that. I think that's pretty true. Mugarby saying maybe I'm expecting too much from Scotty. Even though we're rebuilding, I want to win these games. I was pissed last night. See, your heart's in the right place. You want the Raptors to win. You're upset that they won. You feel like they could have won. I agree. I went through this range of emotions too yesterday. I was like, golly, man, I was so set up for a win. I was like, man, I was feeling good, and we got it taken from us. I get it. You feel a little cheated. I'm with you on that. And yeah, we're going to get better things from Scott over time. Even when you see this kind of situation for him in the future, and maybe something totally different happens, and we'll all be like, yeah, he learned, and it is happening. It's still going to be good. Yeah, there you go. Cowboys saying, yes, Miss Moody. And Cowboys saying, it's understanding Mugarby win. And wins are coming. Trust me. There you go. G saying, Mugarby, I wanted Pascal to stay and I have my concerns about ownership and their wallets, but Scotty is very young and we need to support him and allow him to fail forward, cheering on Pascal at the same time. There you go. I'm with that. Chris is saying, we need another real jerk to rally the troops as the losses keep coming. I'm all about that, Chris. I would love to have another meet and greet. In some ways, I need to do it in the next month or so. It's probably smarter if I do it around March, just because I'm going to get really busy around April, and I'm not going to be able to do it after April probably. And then it might not be till the summer that I can do it. Jill saying, Mugarby, I think the Lex is a very long memory. This is interesting because it's usually women who have these long memories. Laugh out loud. I have a very good memory. Yeah. I keep facts and information for long periods of time. And I don't know if it's like a gender thing. I don't know. I've done skills to increase my memory too. Like I've done like different little habits and things that have gotten me to be having a very good memory. I have little tricks to remember stuff too. So Cowboys saying, but Scotty is the fucking man. He's going to be even more scary next year. He's a beast. With that, Jill saying, yes, humans spend so much time discussing what didn't work. And most of the game was amazing. I'm with you on that. Fierce is giving me another cutoff. It's an hour ago. Blackhawk saying, even if we want to trade Chris, we depend on another team wanting him. The only power we truly have is waiving or buying out a player. I think Chris is valuable. I think other teams would want him. Jill saying, what if Masai decides that too much change has happened to the team recently? So let's wait till summer to make deadlines. Cheers. That could be true. If we don't make a move by the deadline, I hope nobody's really that upset. In some ways, I'll breathe a sigh of relief for Chris, and I'll just go with that. We'll just have to trust our front office once again. Jill saying, we want to keep our pick. Lex, I thought you didn't believe in tank word, huh? I'm going with the company. I go with the team. In some ways, I'm a winner, and I don't like the tank stuff. But if we're doing that, if we're committing to doing that, well, I'm with it. I'm with the team. I'm with what they're trying to do. Once again, Jill, my whole point is to game this for the positive and the advantage for the Raptors, no matter what. And if losing means we keep our pick and that's an advantage, well, I'll get behind that. I will. Mugarby's saying, anyways, lots of loves to those Raptors freaks and have a good day. Peace out. I love you, Mugarby. I'm going to give you a 3-pointer right now. Seriously. Listen, we're all on the same team. We always got to remember that, guys. Fun guy and David. Listen, we love the Raptors, and we're in a bad place with the team, and it's tough. It's confusing. But we don't need to turn on each other. It's just like the team. They don't need to turn on each other inside with each other, and we shouldn't as fans either. Mugarby, I love you so much, man. You're awesome. And today's been really good. In some ways, we got to work all this out. That's why it's important that people are negative and kind of like have their own opinions on this channel, is that we can work it out. Cowboy saying, Darko doing a great job with all these new pieces. I agree. Jill saying, Mugarby, all will be well. Blackhawk saying Darko has areas to improve on. It's okay. At least he is addressing what Nick Nurse wouldn't. This is a good point by Neil. There's some blind spots that Nick never ever got better at. And I feel like Darko's the kind of person that he'll take open criticism from other people and he'll actually adjust and get better as a coach. I could see that. Cool Cat saying Scotty's in year 3. I don't know why I keep thinking he's in year 4. Maybe he's so advanced. I keep forgetting. Thank you, Cool Cat. I don't know why. Maybe I'm ready to get to year 4. Maybe I'm already done with year 3 and I'm just ready to get to year 4 already. Yeah, look at all the Darkos and Masai's on blast. Crazy. I love it. I love it. Look at all that. All right, the cutoff. All right, I'm not going to read all these comments because they're kind of Cowboys saying Raps by 7 tonight. Let's fucking go. Smash that like button. Slam dunk the like button. Monique saying up and downstream. No stream is perfect. Keep at it, Lex. Always go Raptors. Stay with it tonight, guys. Just win. My last comment. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate you, Superfan Monique Lawrence. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for your encouragement for me to keep going. Cowboys saying, is it just me? I feel like Scotty's growing by every game. Going to be 7 feet by the next season. I feel like he's growing as a player. I don't know if he's growing by height. Jill saying, interesting to hear Lex thinks Nick Nurse fucked up his career, that his burning of bridges will not go unnoticed by the universe, if not the NBA. That's not exactly what I said. I said that he messed up his career in Toronto. He didn't mess up his career overall. In fact, that's part of why Rich Paul told him to do this. You can make more money and be more esteemed on the Sixers. So, yeah, he messed up his career in Toronto on purpose. He did do that on purpose. Blackhawk saying Tony Snell needs to move to Canada. We don't try to bankrupt people for medical assistance. All right, Neil, you've been so close to getting a dunk. I'm going to give you one now. In fact, I think I might give you a 3-pointer, honestly, because that's a pretty good one right there. I like that. I'm going to give you a 3. Yeah, I don't know what Tony Snell should be doing because he didn't get signed. He didn't get the pension. It's weird. Carlos saying there will be no glove slapping duel. Yeah. That's where I'm at right now. Just have a beer with the cowboy by the dog part. That'll help. Drink water. Fun guy saying, I didn't even see that David fight comment. Laugh my ass off. David, I would fucking turn your face inside out and open your belly. You better know yourself, buddy. Laugh my ass off. I'd ruin you so fast. Laugh my ass off. No violence. If there's any kind of issues, if any kind of thing, I want you guys to smooth it over and become best friends after meeting each other in real life. Seriously, y'all can come in there and maybe have animosity, but we're going to work it out. I'll mediate. And I'll be like, yeah, no tolerance. Y'all ain't going to do this. Yeah. Carlos saying, I've been arguing with Timmy and Grandpa all along. I love it. That's hilarious. All right. We're almost done. I want to get through here. Jill's saying 40 peeps on here. Like that button. All right. Thank you. Did it already. Jill saying, that's the PR lady with the brunette hair, Lex. I used to do that for a living. That's cool. Yeah, she's nice. She's a nice lady. She's always around the Raptors. I saw a moment with her and OG in the hallway at the New York game where she really gave him a really nice hug. And you could tell that she was feeling emotional about OG not being around in her regular life. You know, this is the kind of stuff that goes on. The staff feels connections to these guys too. So it's not even just like the players go through it. Everybody goes through it. The brunette PR lady felt really sad and was very happy to see OG, is what we saw on the Open Gym episode the other day. Cowboy saying, got to go later, Raptor Freaks, everybody. Oh, yeah, he's got to go because he's Tada. Tada Services. Call for a free quote, 647-833-6844. Tada can come to your house and clean your windows, move furniture, fix something for you. He's a handyman. He can build something for you. He can paint your room. You can do all kinds of shit. You just need to call Bradley, 647-833-6844 in Toronto. He will come and help you with your stuff. Yeah, Jill's saying, where's Wayne Strainer and his witticisms? Wayne's all right. Wayne's awesome. Wayne is like the tough ass. He's the one who's like saying, we need to do this to be better. And I'm all about it. Wayne's just not here today. It's not every day we're going to have everybody. A fun guy saying 30 games left means we could get back to our 25 assists and break the record. I have a feeling, all right, I'm going to predict this. Even though we fucked up breaking the record, I have a feeling in the years to come, we're going to revisit this record and get it at some point. I really do. When we get things more smoothed out, like in some ways, we're doing this in our shitty form. Just imagine when we're actually doing everything right and in the right form, we're going to break that record. We'll revisit that record at some point, fun guy. I believe it. Oh, Wayne is here. Okay, he actually is here. Development is being able to play at different levels within a game. Teams are basically very close in talent, skill, and experience. Development is putting everything together at different stages. There you go. That's a really good description of what I was kind of trying to say earlier. You got to learn how to win again. And in some ways, the Raptors and Scotty got to learn how to win. And they will. They're going to figure it out. DeMar and Kyle had to figure that out too a long time ago. Let's see. Cowboys saying it's later, Miss Moody. Let's go Raptors. Wayne saying Lexicon kindly expound that Shea had experienced a lot of losses during his last 2 years. Also, Dort, their success has been a long time coming. That's the problem with fans who don't watch sports. There you go. Boom, goes the dynamite. They just want to come in and get the easy stuff at the end. They don't want to go through the tough, hard times where it's tough. That's a dunk for Wayne Strainer showing up at the end. Yeah, I totally agree with this. Oklahoma City has lost a lot during SGA's career so far, and they're just starting to get the spoils of the losing and learning how to be successful. Boom, goes the dynamite. Wayne, once again, on point. Let's see. He's also saying Dennis is a high IQ player, and sometimes teammates aren't playing at that level. It will look bad on Dennis because guys not in their correct spots. Average fans don't know these things. Well, I won't disagree with Wayne on this, although the other players are learning him a little bit better. Chris is saying Bob Marley movie. You're kind of right. He doesn't look like him, but maybe the harder them come works so well because Jimmy Cliff was, well, Jimmy Cliff. That's funny. The reality is most fans watch the game and then the next day they forget it. Us, we get all up and come in here and we are all on a bit nuts. Please don't get offended. That's a funny description, Chris. Jill saying Scotty is also heavily defended these days and isn't always able to get through. RJ does that Euro twisty move and usually gets through. Those nights, Scotty seems to switch over to mostly assists. Yeah, these are good points. Jill saying, and also I think OG was a dog. It's just that he checked out of the Raptors when he got that New York agent. He's not a dog in winning games at the end of the games. He's a dog on defense. He's a dog in certain ways, but he's never a guy who took over the game and tried to win with a big shot. He's never that. Blackhawk saying it's obvious that the loss to the Rockets was an embarrassment, and Darko made sure the team was ready for OKC. Although we lost, good job. And that was not an embarrassment last night. As much as some people want to describe it as that, because we lost in double overtime to a top Western team on their home court, that's not an embarrassment like Friday was. That's for sure. Blackhawk's right. All right, we're at 12:30, so I'm getting closer. Carlos saying, yeah, I was expecting a total blowout last night and was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I was really happy. I was like, this was like I said in the preview. I said, well, this could be one of these games where we don't think the Raptors have a chance, and they actually come out and they do amazing things. And that really is kind of what happened. Cowboys saying, I'm back. Lexathon for real. Cowboys saying, just want to say, I think Kenneth Lofton Jr. would be a nice pickup for our bench. What do you guys think? He's on the Sixers. Didn't he get – he's on the blue coats. The Sixers picked up Kenny Lofton Jr. when he got cut by the Grizzlies. Let's go Raptors. Jill saying, Lex, if you're serious about a meet and greet, I'll drive to Toronto. Yeah, well, that's what I want to do. I want to. Usually somebody from out of town will come and make it happen. But if somebody has something else they want to do for a reason for us to get together, I'll do it. It's just in some ways I want the impetus to do it. I won't organize something if people aren't going to come. If somebody comes from out of town, well, definitely I'll come for sure. And hopefully other people will come too. So it's kind of like that's the catalyst. Country Kong saying Colin Sexton has so much dog in him. This is true. The entire Bucks roster had to gang up on him just to reel him in and stop him from taunting Giannis. Hopefully on Friday, we'll have a few more dogs. Go Raps tonight. Yeah, I'm with you on that, JP. I'm with you on that. Yeah, Colin Sexton's got dog for sure. Yeah, I didn't watch that game between the Jazz and the Bucks, but I did see that the Jazz won. That's interesting. Cowboys saying, let's go. That would be awesome. Chris is saying, Jill, you should. It was really fun the last time. Yeah, if you're the reason why we do it, Jill, because Jill's coming to Toronto or Fiercey or whoever was going to come, we'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah, and there's the Mug Brothers. And Isaac saying, a dunk for Country Kong, Cowboy, and all the dogs. Yeah, for the dogs in the dog park. Because Isaac was out there too. All right, yeah, we'll give Country Kong a dunk for being undefeated in our league too. That's really good. And Cowboy, we'll give him one too. We'll give Cowboy one too. Just normal, giving Cowboy a dunk. All right, I guess I got to the end of the chat. This is good. Let me. Chris is saying Real Jerk had free easy parking too. I like that. Yeah, that was good. That's good having the parking, and it's very accessible and a good location in some ways. All right, let's go over it again. The New Orleans Pelicans injuries for tonight are, as of right now, let me refresh it just in case it changed. Larry Nance Jr. is questionable due to his ankle. Zion Williamson is questionable due to his left foot bone bruise. And Herbert Jones III has an abductor strain, and he is questionable also. So Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, Larry Nance Jr., all questionable for the game tonight against the Raptors. On our side, it's only Jonte and Marquise. The two-ways are listed in the injury report. It's not totally clear if Jonte is ready to come back tonight or not. They have not totally updated it. The referees for the game today at 7 o'clock, Raptors 905 at Long Island Nets, Jenna Renault, Hortensia Sanchez Carzales, Stephanie Barksdale. So those are the refs for the 905 game at 7. We have double duty tonight, y'all, just so you know. Toronto at New Orleans, referees, Josh Tiven, Natalie Sago, and Andy Nagy. And all three of the refs favor the Raptors historically with who they usually pick. The Raptors lost a double overtime game to the Thunder last night. Disappointing, but also positive, competitive game with a lot of good stuff happening in it also. I think that's the best way to describe it, guys. Scotty could have taken the opportunity to win the game at the end of the first overtime, but it's too bad he didn't take it. My 3 stars of the game for that is Jakob Poeltl with two-way action, really good stuff. RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes, even though he did what he did, he couldn't win the game for us. Well, I'm still giving him that. All right, you look out, JP. It's you and me this week in the Raptors Yahoo Fantasy Basketball League. Raptors Freaks 416 All-Stars versus the perfect 15-0 Dick Picks. Yeah, it's time. Let's get it on. Let's go have a good matchup this week. I know you're going to be ready, JP. So if you have a team also, check it and set it up. Chris, thank you for the super chat, man. That's very nice of you. And yeah, Country Kong, let's go. Let's just bring it, JP, the Dick Picks. Yeah, I'm ready to give you a good run for your money this week and see if I can mess up your undefeated record. Yeah, Jill gets a 3-pointer for going to Toronto. Wait, you want to give yourself a 3-pointer for going to Toronto? Wait a second. I'll give you a dunk, but I'm not going to give you a 3-pointer, Jill. I'll give you just a dunk. Just one dunk. You've got 18. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if we get a meet and greet together for March, that'd be fantastic. We'll figure it out. If you're going to come to Toronto, Jill, just tell us. We'll all meet up and we'll go and hang out. It'll be fun. Yeah. You got the game winner, Jillian. All right, there you go. You got the game winner right at the end of the buzzer. Boom, goes the dynamite. All right, y'all. Let's go, Raptors. Main event marquee matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Softy King Arena in New Orleans. It's a weird name, Softy King. We're going to have a little matchup here between the two centers here. First in this corner from Lithuania, big number 17, Jonas Valanciunas. And in this corner for the Toronto Raptors from Austria, number 19, Jakob Poeltl. Tonight, we're going to have a Softy King ice cream eating contest. We're going to see which one of these two centers can put down the most Siakam swirls. Who has the most ability in their stomachs to put so much vanilla softy McDonald's ice cream in their bellies? I got Siakam swirls yesterday. I did. The Girard Square McDonald's at Girard and Carlaw has Siakam swirls still. I got 2 of them yesterday. I had a Siakam swirl before the game. I got one in my freezer presently right now. So you can still get the Siakam swirl at some participating locations. So let's see which one of the two centers can eat more Siakam swirls tonight in a Siakam swirl eating contest between Poeltl and Valanciunas. We'll have to see who wins that matchup. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Like I was saying, somebody tell Matt Devlin to not say young dick on the air. Phrasing, Matt. Phrasing. Let's go, Raptors. Phrasing.